We are live.
Got stage fright.
How's our one viewer?
Nikki's not here yet.
To be fair, Nikki did ask if we're streaming tonight.
Yeah, and she'll be our one viewer.
Mm.
It just doesn't have the traction that Curse of Strahd has so far.
It's because I'm not in it as a player. I'm in it as a poor, terrible DM. Right then, peeps. Hi to anybody that does watch this.
Nikki
To
said
anybody
hi.
that doesn't. And anybody that doesn't watch it, screw you, you suck. Say what I want. you don't know. Right, well. Welcome to Kind of the Frostmaiden. Snowy Boogaloo. Last session was quite good. We finished with Sir Gris nearly dying, which was good. Those are always the best sessions where I nearly killed his character. And we didn't have Letitia last week, and now we do. Welcome back, Letitia. Just about
Perfect sound.
with perfect sound. I'm going to give the abridged version of what happened last week. Y'all went into, and then I'll let you fill in any important details that you feel might be missing. But essentially, you went into the church to try and find someone to deal with and bury the body of, well, what had been refuted to being Helen Ramsay, the Baron Lord. You found Father Denro, who'd been seemingly accosted early in the day, judging by the age of his wound. And two things happened. Father Denro came to have a look at the body, saying that he had at least more than one occasion shared the company of the Baron and his family. And he, by all intents and purposes, identified the body as being Lord Helen, that had been previously denied by the Baron Lord himself. Whilst this was happening, nosy get over there, Eileen, started having a bit of a snoop around. Just found a little room at the back of the church. Nothing to it. And then downstairs, an absolutely smashed up, what would you call it? Not tomb, I don't know. There's just coffins that were smashed to pieces and smashed to pieces. Undercroft, sure. Smashed to pieces and bodies scattered about everywhere, and it was revealed that earlier in the day, whilst Father Denro had been interring a newly delivered body of a gentleman that had died drunk in the snow overnight, discovered this morning. Whilst he was interring this body, a poltergeist that had been living within the Undercroft went apeshit, smashed the body to pieces and smashed the place to pieces, and Father Denro was injured in the process. And the poltergeist spirit was that of a school teacher called Eleanor, who had died 3 months ago in a gruesome murder where her and the children of her class that she was looking after were all brutally murdered. Nobody found out who had done it, but we later come to find out that it was the body, well, it was the man that previously owned the body of the dead body that was being interred. And once she'd seen it, she went mental. However...
Whoa.
What?
Can't say that, mate.
What? Mental?
Oh my goodness.
Of course you can. She went... Alright, she went proper, like she'd had... No, I'm gonna go to different route. Wind it back, go. Yeah. Well, during combat, you guys went down there, and all the scattered bones were brought together by some malevolent evil force into a giant ball of bones and bits and debris. And then you went further into the Undercroft, and God, this is the abridged version. Jesus, we need to just stop doing this. We need to just start playing.
You just start every session by watching the VOD of the week before.
Yeah. I mean, but they're not always uploaded, though, are they?
Yeah.
Well, they weren't last time. Have you now got?
They weren't once because one time it blipped, and even then it was uploaded. Just it's never done live.
All right, okay, that's fine.
It goes up about half an hour, about a day later.
Okay, well, this is more for you then. But in future, we might do this in before the session starts, because this is just eating vital session time. So yeah, went in, and then Turelios went in too close to the children's coffins, and it set off the ghost of Eleanor, who started absolutely beating the shit out of him. Father Darrow was told to run, and he did, and he died.
ran right off this mortal coil.
Ran, and he still runs to this day.
The fields of Elysium.
At this death, a wraith of the murderer appeared and turned the fallen body and soul of Father Denro into a spectre. Shenanigans happened. People nearly died. I believe Sir Gris is still very weak with an awesome 12 hit points. And then at the defeat of the Wraith and Spectre and Skeletal Swarm, Sir Gris, who had previously said to the ghost of Eleanor, speak through me. Get inside me, deep. And she did. And she explained what had happened and explained the wrath and the fury that she felt, and she couldn't handle it, and she couldn't help herself, and it was the man that had murdered them that was brought in, and she basically turned him to gravy on the walls. And then she left with a little scene of the ghostly children gathering around her, and then they drifted into nothingness, hopefully moving on to the better place, finally at rest. And now you've got two bodies in a smashed up church, and no evidence that a fight ever happened. So, we ended the session deciding that we would talk out of character through the week as to what to do next.
We did.
That did not happen.
It did not.
As is ever the case with these kind of things. Nor did it have to. So we begin the session with, throughout. Actually, let me just check something for Letitia. I've sent you that.
Sent me what?
I've sent you a message over Discord.
Disgusting.
Yes. Oh, okay, the private. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
No, okay, perfect.
So Letitia has been away out of character for the last two sessions. In character, has basically been sat in the wagon, being very unhelpful, obsessed with the cube that was found in Frostbeard's cavern. And just busying away herself doing that.
That's what I do.
That's what she do. And so the three of you are now inside the church deciding what to do. And I think the last we left it is you're going to say we need to get Letitia and decide upon this together.
It's true.
And so that is where we shall pick up next week. Thank you for that debrief, guys.
I want to ask a question.
Sure.
Juan and Chirelios. Every single week, I wonder, why the fuck are you watching my stream? You're in the
Why
section.
not?
It just confuses me. I think, the viewers are racking up, And it's people who are here anyway.
Why are you watching his stream? You see things from his perspective. Then shut that damn stream down. What if I send him a private message and you're reading it? You little metagaming cheaters.
I didn't even think of that. He doesn't know how to do that anyway.
Every time he checks his character sheet and it's got, a picture of his penis or something, I don't know. What about all the magic gear I've given him that you don't know about? Like the Wand of Orcus. What? So yeah.
Is that just another name for the lantern?
It's true form. It's true name. So I would prefer it if you didn't actually watch his stream, because when we are in positions such as restricted vision, you'll be able to see things that you should not be able to see, and that may, at some point, make a difference.
Not true. I usually just start at the very beginning just to give him a hydrate, because
it's true. I do start the session very hydrated.
Good. I actually don't have a drink. I should probably go and get one at some point. Right then, guys. So that is where we are at. I'm gonna start a random song. Let's go with. All right. That one.
Oh, I have had a message for you. I am the proxy for delivering a hydrate to the DM.
Hydrate.
Keep it on top of it.
Nikki has sent you a hydrate.
Oh, right. So I have to go and get. Well, yeah. I mean, it means I'm stepping away from the computer for a minute. Do you guys want to?
I think that's why she said.
I will go and get one in a moment for sure, because I do need to get one.
You do. It's important to stay hydrated.
It is. Especially when I start doing voices and things, then I'm coughing every 5 seconds. Okay. So, we start with Trelios, Eileen, and a very weakened Sir Gris in the nave of the church. The two bodies of Sir Helen Ramsay and Father Denro laid prone before the altar. There is concern as to whether they should make the actions that have transpired here known to the guards of Hundlestone, knowing full well that they have been guided here by a number of people before, or do they not? What do you three wish to do?
Despite how drained he looks, Sir Gris looks a bit more swole.
Full. It looks like a quarter stronger than he did before.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I believe we owe it to the gods to inform on what has occurred here. What say you both?
Well,
I'd say that you're right, but I also want to know if you're feeling well.
No,
They do.
I am not. I feel insubstantial, almost. It has taken something from me. Yes, he looks tired. Very pale.
this really does not put us in an advantageous position. Okay. We'll need to see if Lutetia even is interested in all this. She might just want to bail with with Jenna. As I mentioned earlier, we should probably let her distance herself from us if we are to broach this subject with the gods. She does not need additional trouble, I suppose.
I would hope that the right course of action would be reason enough.
I think he's saying more that didn't need to involve Jenna, not that we didn't
Oh,
even
yeah,
need
yeah,
to
yeah.
involve-
We should kick him out of the group. No, I got that. Okay, while you were gone, we decided you weren't a good fit. Goodbye. No.
I was outvoted.
Fucking hell.
So,
We should head up and find her.
Should it be far? I'll see. I'll bring her here. Might be better to talk about it here then. Yeah, you just rest, and I'll walk out to get Jana and Lutetia.
okay.
Hopefully, or at least one of them.
Well, as you approach, the wagon is still there as it was previously. The wind of this nighttime snowy township of Hundlestone is wicked and wild. You can just see. Well, you can see quite a lot because you have dark vision, but it's all still a little bit dark and dim due to the heavy snow. Are you approaching Jenna first, or are you approaching Leticia first?
I would go towards Jenna first because she was waiting for us specifically, and then on my way, I'm still very wary because we kind of were told to get here. Yeah, I'm still suspicious and looking around if no one's paying any attention to what's going on here.
I mean, you can see very little beyond the snow.
No worries. Just
you kind of like get little soft glowing glimmers every so often of like maybe a building across the road, and the shadows loom a little bit larger as like a flurry might pass, but other than that you can't see.
Okay. I get up to Jenna then.
And as you're approaching the thing, you just hear in the distance as you're approaching her.
I'm sorry we've kept you waiting so long.
It's all right. It's not been too long. You managed to make a drop off for the father then.
There were complications, I'm afraid. And we need to talk things through. And Sir Gris is not feeling particularly well. Do you think it would be unwise to leave the wagon for a minute or two to get inside and talk?
She looks at you, kind of like looks into the whiteness of the street. I'll be quite honest with you. I was tasked to get you here, and I've done that. If you need my help, then if there's anything I can do, I will. But if Sir Gris is seemingly hurt or there's been some complications, then I think better I have none of it.
Yes, this did pass through my mind. Very well then. I'll speak with Lutetia, and then... well, where will you stay? In the town?
Can't see it from here, but if you follow around a little bit further on your left, there's a coach house. That's where all the wagons passing through, that's where they stop off. You can find me there.
Good. Yes.
Torello.
In that case... Yes.
I see it in your face that something's happened. Just be careful, okay?
Oh yes, we'll do our best. And if it's safe, we will reach to you. And if it's not, you won't hear from us. It will not bring any trouble to your door.
Cheers. I appreciate it. I know you've done a lot for us. I do appreciate it.
I only fear that it will still be too little. And I go towards the back.
And as you get to the back, a somewhat frustrated Letitia is still playing around with the puzzle box, and she's kind of like looks at actually, Letitia, while you're there, can you roll me an intelligence check, please? You can call it Arcana.
Yes, my lord. Okay. It's been 2 weeks since I rolled a single dice, so this
well.
one counts for me. So is it you said Arcana, right?
Yeah.
Let's go. Can I roll it with advantage because it's been oh yeah, it's good.
Were you about to say, can I roll at advantage because it's been so long since I've made a roll?
He's just building up. He's building up so many.
Yeah, I've been building up my roll.
Fuck me!
It worked. God damn
It
it.
worked all right.
Okay, then I take it back. Actually, Trillos, as you approach the back of the wagon, Letitia has a very vague and faint smile on her face, and doesn't kind of react as you come around the corner, and you can see her hands open, and the puzzle box that she'd been playing with, it appears to have kind of splayed open, kind of like at the top. You know, like those kind of like origami things, like those number things where you put your fingers in and you
Who do you
pick a number.
fancy?
Who do you fancy? Pick a number. It's kind of like splayed open into this like kind of origami box with like metal bits kind of like folded away, like she's like almost like she's just unfolded it. And roll me a perception check.
Me or
You, yeah.
Pookie? The duality of player.
Okay.
He hasn't made a roll in the whole week, though, so does he get advantage?
What's happening?
So you kind of come around and just kind of like catch this vacant
The snow is right in my face.
The snow just kind of like catches you from on, and you kind of like when you rub it out your eyes, and then you look back. Letitia's looking at you, and she's already kind of like, I guess, kind of like putting the box down. And now
I'm
she's
like, "What's up, fish stick? You don't look
But
too good."
I did see that it has opened, right? Or
You saw that it was opened, and it was like, so you kind of like caught it, and then the snow flew in your
that's
face,
fine.
and then as you looked back, it was already kind of like being put away, and she was like,
Yeah,
caught you.
that's-
You'd
that's
caught like,
perfectly fine.
yeah, you'd caught like a glimmer of something.
no worries. Well, I hope it was worth it. All the time you spent at this thing.
I don't know what you're talking about. What's up?
Do you care to join us? We have
For what?
things to discuss.
Breakfast? What time is it, by the way?
Nighttime.
Okay,
But
dinner.
you've lost complete track of time of where you're
Yeah,
at.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's like, oh no, it's night now. Dinner then.
We need to talk things through.
Oh, okay.
We
You
have
sound
decisions
serious.
to make. Yes, I
Okay, let's
am.
go.
Are our things still on the wagon? I believe.
I think everybody got dressed in their winter clothing apart from
probably.
you. The rations and stuff will still be there in the box.
Cool. Okay, so with the help of Letitia, will we be able to take all of this?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Good. Then I suppose we'll take those and go towards the building.
Okay. Kind of like lugging this big crate of rations down the slippy path inside, and as you're kind of like doing it, as it gets unloaded, and there's the rattle of the back of the wagon as you kind of like bolt it back up. You can both, because you can see in the dark, you can both see the shadow of Jenna kind of pops her head around the corner and like off the wagon and says, "If I don't see you again, travel well. Fair nights and fair days."
Fair nights and fair days.
And a little crack of the reins. The wagon and the light it has starts drifting off into the darkness, and you feel like the swelling coldness and dark just start kind of like crushing in around you as the wagon moves off into the distance. And by the time you've got down to the church and kind of like carried the crate down and you look back, there's just no sign of the light or the wagon. You just are completely desolate and alone here. And you go inside.
Indeed.
For Letitia, it is a fairly simple church. 6 rows of pews flanking on either side. Single-tiered church, not a particularly high building. And at the front, you see Sir Grace sat in an altar. In front of the altar, sat in a pew. Kind of a little hunched over, a little worse for wear, seemingly.
Okay, and do I see what's the positioning of everybody? Like, what are you doing, Grace and Eileen?
I am just sat on the floor, not looking good at all. Pale,
Okay.
quite withdrawn.
Are you guys injured? Can I see it, or are you guys in quite good shape, or not?
I do not
Nothing
look in
alarming.
good shape.
You don't look particularly blooded, though, do you?
No, I don't look wounded. I just look diminished and fatigued and all kinds of things like that.
I guess
All
they.
How about
allergies.
I would say that all of them have blood spatters on them. You can tell that there has been a fight.
Okay. And can I see the bodies that you talked about earlier?
No, probably
No,
not.
not yet. Okay, so I just I go to them.
Yeah, they're down below.
No, they're not. I thought you brought them up and put them in front of the altar up here.
They did
The
brought them
bodies. I mean, only one then, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the body of the priest, basically is.
Well, no. I thought Lord Ramsay was already in front of the altar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you mean him.
Yeah.
So
that's
there's
not news.
Yeah, so well, it's for Aggie because it's the first time Letitia's been in it. So at the front of the altar, there are 2 bodies laying prone. One you can instantly recognise with the cover that was, the clothing of it is Lord Ramsay, and then there is a second body that isn't frozen to death, that is absolutely bloodied and bludgeoned.
Well, I see that you guys had a party here. What happened?
If it helps any, you'll notice that Eileen is moving back and forth, clearly frazzled.
Complications.
Can see that. Yeah. So
If
why
you,
did you bring me here, Cherielos? You wanted me to be an accomplice to this, or do you need my help?
Oh, you can still follow Jana if you wish.
I mean, okay, first thing first. Does anyone need healing or special attention?
We have survived.
I can see that, but maybe your brain didn't. Stating the obvious. Are you in shock?
I imagine
The short term
imagine
food,
Gris would feel like he is wounded, but out of character, I feel it's cruel for me to have us waste spell slots on my character's assumption that they can be healed. So I will not say anything. I'll just save it. It's taken it out of me.
Okay.
Keep
I think
healing
you'd know
me.
the difference.
More heals.
I think you'd know the difference between physical blooded wounds and just an inherent weakness that could very much just feel like exhaustion, like you've never felt before. If you are all going to inform Lutetia of the events that have transpired, then we shall say that she knows. If you don't wish to go into it, and you don't wish to tell her everything, then that is a different option.
I think in character, I would be presuming that Trevelios has told her whilst outside, maybe. But yeah, obviously, if not, I'll be bringing her up to speed. Slowly. I imagine at the moment, I'm talking like Stevie from Malcolm in the Middle.
So,
There was
you guys,
this
Last, we had ghosts.
Well,
Spectre.
If Sir Gris is struggling so hard, I would probably save him from it.
so I'd say you take a good 5 minutes kind of explaining what's happened, who this new body is, what happened down there, and Letitia's just kind of like taking it all in. Still has that air of everything just seems just a little too humorous sometimes, but maybe it fades slightly. I don't know. I don't know with this crazy bitch. What's going on in her head?
Hey, don't insult my girl.
More the player. So
You insult yourself, sir.
I hate you so much.
so Letitia is up to speed and knows what happened, and the rest is yours.
Well, I guess we need to tell the guards, right? I mean, you guys didn't do anything out of malice, so.
My thoughts exactly.
So the way I see it, if we run away, the guards are gonna find the corpses, and maybe they will think it's us, right? But if we go tell them, at least we know they know it's us, and if they care, we kill them, and if they don't, then we're fine.
You had me at first, but
Well, there is only one thing that I think is worth considering, and that is the fact that the Lord has already seen us and already had problems with what we have come here to sell.
So what do you think? We run away?
Well, I don't like that idea either.
Should we try and hide the bodies?
Bodies are always going to come up sooner or later. If it's not going to be the smell that's going to draw people up, it's going to be the fact that they are missing.
And you haven't really seen the basement. It's not a fast job.
and would make us look extremely guilty of something which we are not.
Oh yes. Well, I suppose then we need to assume that the Lord will, or the guards, will see the truth of it. Will be able to recognize it.
We can try.
Well,
What do you think, Eileen?
If you were to ask me, running away is not going to do us any bit of help. The sooner we're going to tell them, the faster we can see where this is going to take us.
indeed.
Also, I'm not comfortable with what we've seen. We just step into the town, and before we even know it, we find that ghosts are just appearing out of thin air. It's not normal. Spirits are not supposed to linger.
Quite.
It is all troubling. Well, I can go fetch the guards if you want. Is anyone else willing to accompany me? Or would you rather stay?
I will attempt to get up to come with you. Of course.
Holding up well there, Sugris.
Been better, been worse. Shall we?
I just nod.
Let's go.
Someone's typing is coming through very
Typing.
loudly.
Yeah, Letitia, you're typing a bit too heavy in what we call Harrison style.
Take.
Okay, so who's heading off? Just Turelios and Sugris?
So it seems.
Okay. Together, you head out into the snows once more, pulling your winter cloaks around you. Where do you wish to head?
So, Chris, I have to say, I assumed one of them would accompany me in this case, seeing as you are indisposed.
Well, perhaps it would lend some credence to our story. Or perhaps they'll be opportunists and just kill me first.
Well, that's fair. Suppose you are the most presentable of our group.
We should just find the nearest guard.
Let's go.
Leave how they disseminate the actions to themselves.
So, would we be closer to the gates or closer to the mansion?
Close to the gates. It was like up the hill and like a big switchback to go to the thing. Letitia, you need to stop hot micing, put it on push to talk.
Am I hot micing right now? I'm not even doing anything.
We're picking up something in the background.
The problem is I cannot push to talk on my phone.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know.
I can try to reduce sensitivity. Hang on. Sure.
No worries. So back the way you came with the through the to the gate. It's going to be the closest. It's probably about 5 minutes less than.
I would then suggest this course of action, since we know the guards are going to be there.
Good. You may have to do most of the talking, I'm afraid.
And
It's not going to be a problem.
off into the cold, the empty streets.
Oh, I like it.
What the sound?
I'm happy you do.
The windy street, the windy.
Yeah.
The Arctic wind.
Pitch black out here until Sugris presumably puts his lantern on.
Lantern of
The
Omens. Grant me sight beyond sight.
And it is just this glowing. For anybody that's walking by, it's just this big glowing whiteness within the snow that kind of like just moves, shuffling down the street. Snow here probably coming just under your knees. It's been swept away a little bit on the roads, but it seems to be picking up and gathering quite a bit again. You can see some vague tracks in the snow, but there's very few of them. There's like one single set that stands out that you can mark as being Jenna's, but other than that, the rest are quite faded. That it's not well travelled. It's late. It's hard to move around. And the brightness of your lamp is just overshadowing everything else. You know, you can't see the lights from streets or anything. You're just kind of like walking in just whiteness, the two of you right next to each other, until like you kind of just pick up all this. Is like, bloody hell! What the hell's that? You just hear a voice coming as you kind of step further forward. You kind of like see it's the gates, and you've got two of the pikeman guards already at like a loose attention with their pikes kind of like held forward, like kind of like looking to one side and the other, like trying to peer into this light. Who goes there?
Julia.
I said, who goes there?
Yeah.
You see them shift uneasily. You can see them, but it's very. I mean, they can see like kind of like a rough silhouette, but you know, kind of like you're so close to it, they're like kind of blinded and squinting a little bit.
You will find we are no danger. You need to report fighting, I suppose.
Aye.
How close are we at this point? Like, did we already?
I guess. I mean, how bright do you have the light on? Is it just normal light? I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been.
So when you said light beyond light, you were lolzing and weren't actually.
Oh yeah, I wasn't the dawning of the age of Aquarius or anything.
Okay, that's fine. Well, then in that case, it probably isn't quite as bright as that, but so they can kind of like see and like kind of like peering a little bit. It's like fighting, you say? Go on, speak it more plain.
Well, there's been trouble at the church, I'm afraid.
At the church.
Yes. Church of Ilmata, I believe.
Oh, I know the which church. There's only one in this town, pal. And he starts moving further forward, and you can see that there's two of them, like kind of stepping forward a bit, and one of them, you only got a quick glance on him. You can, it's the one that saw the wagon at the front, and as soon as he sees you, it's like, oh, it's the Triton's other fella. You came in with Jenna. Trouble at the church. Why? What's happened?
Well, the dead are stirring.
What?
Where, I suppose. We've put them to rest now. But I'm afraid that Father Denro did not survive the encounter.
And there's a very sudden look between them both. Father's dead, is he?
Afraid so. Right, so.
Right. 1 minute. And you can see he's like looking a little bit panicked for a second. He's like conferring between. I don't know what's going to do. Oh, you can roll me a perception check disadvantage because of the.
Okay.
You know,
And I would probably be keen to make a connection with Sir Gris.
okay.
Hungry eyes.
Perception.
Cool. You can kind of, I say, Sagrish, you can kind of pick up that the at least the tone seems concerned and worried and confusion. Terrell, you just kind of like pick up. We've not got enough people. There's not. Who's staying here? Who are we gonna send? You go. No, you go. And kind of like one of them steps forward, like the guy that you've been speaking to, and says, I will come and investigate whilst my companion here will send a small retinue of guards to join me shortly. They will be en route. And kind of like steps forward as he says it, and he kind of like gives a look over his shoulder, and I'm going to say that Turelios, you can kind of see on his face very plain that there are not going to be more people sent. He is concerned that he is going to have to go alone. But he kind of like steps on. Right. Come on then, let's see what all this is about then, shall we? And this guy keeps switching from Lancashire to Leeds.
I know.
I
I feel like whenever you make one of the guards say, "Speak it plainly," it's a shift into the other accent.
Can't make it. He's Transpennines, this lad. So he's kind of like got his pike in hand and kind of like tips his bull helmet a little bit and like, right, come on then. And he kind of like just steps forward and like kind of like but ushers you two forward like, come on, lead on.
Buy it, by gum.
You by gum.
We will lead the way then.
Fine. In meantime, Eileen and Letitia doing anything, talking about anything?
You are absolutely seeing that I am close enough to losing my shit. That helps you any.
Eileen's
Sorry, this is not in character.
I mean, he just points and starts laughing at her, having a meltdown.
Well, I mean, I can't really see your face, but I can guess by your demeanor. Do you need me to make you some tea or something?
Appreciate it. I'm just
Are we back at the wagon or are we...
No, so the wagon has gone. The wagon has gone to the caravan. You guys stayed in the church with the bodies whilst Turelios and Sugris went to fetch a guard.
Well, I can't really make tea then. Let me see what
I mean, you're seeing me pacing like a crazy lady. Tea? Yes, tea might help. Tea might help, maybe. What could cause people of just turning into ghosts?
Well,
Patricia, you've traveled around. Have you heard anything like this?
I mean, what are ghosts really, right? Are there spirits? Are they elementals? Like, what's a real ghost? I don't know. I don't have the answer. I would have need to see them, to know what I'm looking at. I don't know what you guys saw.
You can roll me a religion check if you wish to see what you do know about
Okay.
ghosts and the like.
A religion check.
Religion check.
Wait, why was it with the? It went with advantage. But,
Maybe
it's both 9s, so it's
Just a
they were both
Thursday.
it's a Thursday. You get advantages on Thursdays. Probably just general talk of what other people have heard. That they are generally the spirits of those that had unfinished business or were unsettled when they passed. And depending on the extremity of what happened to them and sometimes how they died can manifest itself differently in different types of spirits. And this is the same kind of thing that you are probably aware of Eileen. You kind of like, you don't know the specifics of it necessarily, but that's kind of like just what, more common-ish knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Fair enough.
I don't know a lot about ghosts, but what I know is that if there are ghosts here, we don't want to stay here too long.
I do believe that we're a bit past that moment. This is not going to help me. Can you distract me in any way? Tell me anything. Anything different. Anything at all.
Anything different? Well, that little box I was playing with for like 2 days.
That is
I
an
opened
excellent
it.
distraction.
Yeah, I opened it, but I can close it back for you and give it to you. Can I do that actually, Alex?
Yeah. So the way it works is that you kind of like choose how to lock, and then if you pass it to somebody else, they have to make the same checks.
Yeah, and I can hide something inside of it. You said right, and it's bigger on the inside than it seems. Yeah. So I'm gonna hide actually 5 pieces of gold. So I'm gonna remove that from my. Wait, my gold changed. Oh, because of the D&D Beyond thing. I don't know how much gold I have.
Oh dear. Oh, did it
Yeah.
update your character sheet and remove everything?
Yeah.
No.
Oh no!
I mean, I have my items. It just removed my gold. I have all my items.
Interesting.
Then you have no gold.
These
have
guys,
15
these guys robbed you.
Yeah, I've been robbed blind.
I imagine you have the same give or take as Eileen, because I don't think Eileen's spent anything.
No.
So Chris just gives it away all the time. So no, he would not be a good.
I love how that's like phrased almost like a bad thing. I give you it. He feeds the economy and.
I'm a capitalist dog, man. Have you not seen my Patreon tiers? I don't give nothing away. So how much gold have you got, Eileen?
892 gold and 25. What was the P again?
Silver piece?
Platinum.
Platinum. Thank you.
Oh,
Pilver.
what? We have 25
Pilver.
actually?
Pilver. Popper. Got Popper.
Yeah. Popper, Pilver, and Pole.
Silver
Sounds like the
pieces.
world's strangest solicitors.
Why are words that start with P always so funny in a way?
Yeah, like Peter Pan.
So go. How much platinum have you got?
25.
25p. How much gold?
892.
25p really tickles me. Fredo!
So we'll call it. It was probably like 901 for Letitia because she kept skimming off the top. Silver.
97 silver.
97 silver. Call it 98 silver.
Okay.
Copper.
Nothing.
Stonks
No.
today. Earning
Big-
money.
Big GME stonks. There you go.
Okay, so I'm gonna hide 5 gold pieces into the box and close
Just to say, I don't think I actually gave the full description, or I don't think I actually dropped the item over. If Eileen then opens it, she's the only one that can close it. So it then
Yeah,
becomes
okay.
basically her item.
Yeah, but the thing I wanted in it is
Sure.
done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with
Okay, cool. So you now have. I don't know whether we still. I don't know whether we have the thingy on our server
I have
here
it.
where somebody can right click and send it to another player. Do we have that on this DM? On the
Let me just
DM?
check. DM.
DM?
Let me
No.
just check. No, we don't yet.
Right, we will sort that out. There's a few things that we'll sort out. I will drag and drop it onto Eileen, hopefully.
While Leticia is doing that, I think I finally burned myself down and just falling in one of the pews looking at her. A bit delighted.
it. Oh, my poor Eileen.
Eileen, as you look it over, it is an interesting and somewhat quirky trinket. You kind of like turn it over in your hands. You're not quite sure why Letitia was so compelled and obsessed with it. It just seems like an
interesting
puzzle box. It may.
At the
it may-
very least, it's taking my mind off things.
Sure. Okay.
So if you can, twist the box and have all the same colors on the same sides, it will open.
Rubik's Cube. Gotta love him. Alright, all colors on the same side. First a shot. And you've been thinking of this for the past 2 days.
Well, when I see a puzzle, I have to solve it. It's it's something I can't really control.
Hmm.
For example, there is
Unfortunate.
one puzzle that always keep me up at night. It's what's under your mask, but I try to resist the urge to jump you while you sleep. Look what's underneath it.
Unfortunately, it's just a face. There's nothing special there.
Definitely
I
has
mean,
no
if you're
face.
hiding it, there is something special. There is something worth hiding, at least for you.
Well, I'll allow you to think that. I'm currently now playing with the puzzle box.
And as Eileen just kind of like sit there playing away with it, Letitia's just kind of like watching her, and it feels like the things that she's doing, the way she's twisting and turning it's turning in a way that didn't turn that way when you were doing it. It's like the puzzle just changes every time. It's a real strange way that it works. And you kind of like going up for that for a little while, and then the front door opens, and in steps Sir Gris, Trillios, and one of the guards.
Oh, I meant to ask the guard as we were on the way
Okay.
if he knows Father Denro by any chance. Well, 'cause they did recognize the name.
Aye, well enough. He
And,
gave service every week. I always attended with my wife.
and were you aware of Leonard Tonner?
And he kind of like straightens up a little bit. Aye. We know all about what happened with Eleanor. Aye.
Do you know what happened after? When she was already in the cellar, so to speak?
I'm not sure what you mean. Speaking in riddles, I'm not quite liking it.
I'm sorry, it was spirit that first manifested to
Eleanor.
us. And from what I gathered, the priest was aware of it for some time now. I thought that maybe others knew about it as well. But I suppose he might have kept it a secret.
Definitely not something he spoke about in his sermons. No. I don't imagine it's the kind of thing that he'd want to talk about. The way that she died and the way the chill. And he goes quiet. People want to forget about it. If you're saying that some spirit of her was still around, keep that to yourself. That's a bit upsetting for most people around here.
Oh. Sure is. And suppose at this point we can be opening the door and letting the cold air in.
And it's already pretty cold in here. I know you guys have been in and out. It's a bit of a larger fallen, but he comes in and kind of stamps his feet a little bit, and he kind of like takes his hat off, kind of like almost instinctively, his helmet, and then kind of looks around at the gathered people and just puts it back on. And under his breath, blessed be and watch over us. Blessed be your sacrifice one. Blessed be martyr. Kind of like steps in, is very wary, kind of looking around and nods you two to the front where everybody else is gathered.
Mhm.
Right. Tell it as it is. What? And he kind of like, as he's saying it, he kind of like reaches the front and just sees the battered, bloodied body of the father, and he kind of like stiffens up a little bit, and you just see the grip around his pike just tighten. He kind of like steps back a little bit, and he's eyeballing. Yeah. You need to tell me now just exactly what the fuck happened here.
I look towards the others. Does anyone wish to say anything? What was that?
We've had an encounter with ghosts.
Ghosts. Ghosts did this, did they?
More specifically, it would seem that the man who was responsible for the murder of Eleanor, surname, and the children of the school,
Toner.
Toner, died and was brought in. The spirit of Eleanor had been residing, and perhaps still resides, in the crypt below. And when that body was brought in, the father described how it distressed her and changed the nature of her inhabitants of the crypt. It would seem the body of the man was, well, I'm sure you'll see for yourself in the crypt. I've never seen a corpse being, quite frankly, smeared along the entire length of the crypt wall and roused other dead. When we brought the baronet's body here after speaking to you, the father was wounded, not grievously, but enough that at first we wondered, was he under duress or being shaken down by somebody? But he told us his tale, and we came down with him. And yes, things escalated from there.
Right. Roll me a persuasion check, please. Segris with advantage, because Turios was, just the demeanour of everybody. Okay. You kind of see him ease up a little bit. He's still like a little bit tense, but less aggressive to you. And he like looks over at the father and says, "Little martyr, get a sheet, cover him up."
I will do so, just because it's something to do.
He said the man that was brought in here. The
He
murderer.
He didn't know his name. He said,
Larkin.
that is not something we knew. He said it was a body who had wandered home from the tavern and supposedly died in the snow and was brought in here. But clearly Eleanor's spirit recognized it. So if you know his name, was he caught at the time? I don't understand how he could be known and yet be wandering free.
No, we found his body in the early hours. It's just what he called himself around the tavern. That's what people are doing by Larkin. But he hadn't been in town for that long. Maybe weeks, a month at max, before everything that happened. Seems he'd been here long enough just to work his way around. Came across as a nice sort. Was happy to part with his coin and buy drinks for folk. You're saying that it was him?
That is what the spirit believed. We fought the spirit, but it was Eleanor who made the final strike against it. And I've not seen spirits before, but she was ferociously fixated on him. In the end, when he had dissipated, she went to rest with... And I'll pause for a second. No, I'll say, forgive me if I am mistaken, but your reaction before, as we were walking back, and you mentioned your wife, was one of Eleanor's students?
No,
Ah, okay.
no. Just,
Yes.
it's a small town, you know, the children. Everybody knew them.
Well, the children all looked happy. Their spirits were stood by their coffins, and when the deed was done, they rushed to Eleanor, and she looked content. But we appreciate what a gambit it is bringing this to you. I understand that it could look convenient to say we've been witness to a crime that leaves no bodies, but I'm confident that the state of the cellar and the fact that we know the things we know about this will show in our favour.
Well,
We are new arrivals in the town after all.
and he holds his hands up. It's like, I don't need all the excuses. I know you folk are new here. There are things about what have happened that there's no way you'd have picked up on. You didn't know, and the father didn't know Larkin's name, but yeah. Let me take a look at this cellar. And he starts walking towards the door.
You might want to still yourself. It is quite a mess down there, I'm afraid.
I
Could-
will light my
Could
lantern.
break. It could break a man.
And he kind of like stops the door as you say it could break a man, and he looks back at you and says, I was one of the first at the school.
Fucking hell.
I don't think there's anything in this world that I will see that was worse than that. But thank you for your. Yeah. He's like, he's not trying to hold it against you or anything. He's like, you know.
Yeah, I nod then, understanding, and follow him.
Kind of like slowly heads down. He gets to the bottom of the stairs. And then as you kind of like come a bit closer with the lantern and it lights up the area, he's like, oh, sweet Marta. Oh my. He's like kind of like stepping in and he just kind of like looks down and you can see that he can't tread anywhere without stepping on bone. And he looks around, the children's coffins.
They have not been. They have not been touched. They remained undisturbed through all this.
Small blessings. And he kind of like is looking around at the bones, and then he just kind of like stops for a minute and just sees the smear along the. And that's him, you say. That's what's left of the bastard.
Yes, that would be the former killer.
Shame he was already fucking dead when she did it. Who else has come down? Is
I
it?
have.
I know Gris and Trellis are obviously there.
Mhm.
I say that I'm coming down.
Okay. Have you gone and got the sheet and covered it?
Yes.
Letitia?
I'll go to just to see.
Oh yeah, because you've not seen yet. Oh, I mean, I imagine.
Yeah, I've not.
Letitia
yeah,
got
I've not
down there
seen
before he did.
Don't
well,
want to alarm you, young one, but there is a mess down there.
I'll show Letitia because she has not seen the thing. But
Oh, do we have an image? Found
we
it?
had it was a battle map, my friend.
Oh, okay.
Let me drag your token on so you can see.
I do not own.
Yeah,
a
I know. Let me drag a token on so you can see. There you go.
DM, I don't think you can
Is
see.
Is this a classic dungeon map, or am I mistaken?
This is a part of the classic dungeon map. Yeah, I think
This is so classic. I like it.
you and Sir Gris may have to unsubscribe to my Twitter and my Patreon because you're going to start seeing way ahead of time. So I used parts of all the smashed up thingies, but it is a completely different and smaller one.
Nice.
So we'll say that the guard is kind of like here, right in front of you. He's not stepping too far into the room. Doesn't want to disturb stuff. He's like looking around. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen anything like this. But, I see no reason why you folk would come down and want to do it either. He kind of like catches a glimpse of the stone table on the other side where the bodies were being prepared. Right. I'll need to report this to my captain. I don't presume you'll be travelling anywhere. I know you came in with Jenna, so you'll be staying here for the night. I would presume.
Yes, for the night at least.
Well, tavern's closed, and the only place you can get rest or drink would be the coach house, which I imagine is where Jenna's gone now. So if we need you, which we will, I'm sure, we'll come and find you.
Very well. Do you need any help more immediate cleaning, or do you wish to preserve it until your captain's seen it?
Aye, we should probably leave it as is. He's kind of like rubbing his forehead. He's taking his helmet off now. He obviously doesn't feel the same threat as he did earlier. He's like kind of like
strike,
just over the top, dome him in. And he's like rubbing his head. It's like Il Mater preserve us. Right. Come now. Let's go. And you start heading back upstairs.
Nothing to see there.
And as you get to the top of the stairs, roll me a perception check. I'll say Letitia because she was the last one coming in, I think. By the sound. Letitia can roll me a perception check.
Perception. Let's go.
Oh, it's DC 10.
Oh, there is. Sorry. I'm blind. Find it. Normal. Let's go.
Advantage again.
No, this wasn't an advantage.
As you are kind of like turning back and going back up the stairs, Letitia, you hear and the sound of the front door of the church has been opened momentarily.
Okay. Do we see something coming in, or is it like
you are still going back up the stairs? So this is before you've gone out into the nave. You've gone. There's like a door that's led down these corner stairs. You're kind of like, you just kind of like hear it open.
Okay.
I swear to God, if one of the bodies got up and left.
The others are far from me, or they're still.
I think you're all kind of going up at the same time, but you were kind of up the stairs first. Okay. Last one in, first one out.
I'm gonna tell them, guys, stop. I think I heard something behind us.
Behind us?
Yes. Do you guys want to check, or do you prefer to get the hell away from here?
I'm just pointing out that he did say that it was behind us while we
As
were
in
going
down the
up.
basement.
So I'm
Okay.
probably believing that there are more skeletons behind me. I'm not fine, guys.
What do you hear? What was it?
I think it was maybe a door or something moving.
The guard who had said that more guards are coming looks concerned.
We can't really avoid going up, I suppose. We don't
You
have
can't-
any other way out, so
he like looks between you all like,
I think we need to
I-
face it head on, whatever it is.
you should all wait here. I'll go first.
Are you sure?
That's not a good idea.
And he kind of like looks at you and is like,
We will listen to the guards.
I'm the guard of this
I
town.
mean,
You're all under my charge.
well, if you insist, sure.
Takes a breath. Steels himself and starts walking up the stone path and up the stone steps as he gets to the big heavy door and kind of like pushes it open a little bit and looks out. He's like, fucking hell. What are you doing here? And he kind of looks behind and calls you all up. And as you step out into the nave, there are, in fact, 2 more guards.
Okay.
They are dressed somewhat similarly to this guard, but it looks like their gear is a little nicer, a little shinier. Where he's got like these iron studs that impress in the tunic and in the leather, they've got like gold tinted studs. They look,
Wow.
They've got their
Um,
second McDonald's star.
they've got their second McDonald's star, yeah, and there's 2 of them. They both kind of stood there on either side
works.
of this flanking door. And, roll me perception check. I'm going to say Sir Gris.
I suppose they were directly under the Baron.
The first time he
another
perceives.
Whoa, what was that little stir?
Don't know what you're talking about.
You little sneaky devil, you messing about with the dice. I know what you're playing at. So, yeah, well, Tyrell's kind of like hit the nail on the head, which I guess you can jump to that conclusion as well in character. You now hadn't really realised the difference at the time. It was all dark and everything else was going on, but they do look like guards that were dressed at the keep. They're dressed very similar, but now you can see, in comparison to the standard gate guard, they are dressed similarly, but with the extra embellishments here and there.
Okay.
And the gate guard kind of like just gives them a nod, and then Luke says like, "I suggest you all line up on that wall." And he points to the back wall of the nave, like the altar wall, directly opposite the main doors.
So is the guard who we've been with has said to do that?
Yes, the gate. Yeah, so he's the
Yeah.
gate guard, whereas these would be, I guess, Baron guard. He kind of like gestures you all to kind of like go to one side.
Yeah, will do.
And he kind of like joins you, but kind of like steps forward, forward from you, and one of the guards comes forward and approaches the gate guard, and is this area clear? Nothing to worry about? Well, I wouldn't say nothing to worry. And they're safe. All right then. And he gives a nod to the other guard, and then steps back a bit. He's kind of like stood in front of the pews, and you can see he's got his own pike, and he looks a little bit more prepared to use it. And then all the wind is blowing in through the open door, and then this heavily furred figure comes in straight away as they pull down this fur-lined hood. You see that it is. Oh, not that. It is indeed.
I knew it. I knew that she.
Lady Rancy. And as she kind of steps through, one of the guards shuts the door behind her, and the other one quickly kind of like just steps in line with her to the side. And she says, I have come to see my son.
I blink for just a moment and then go towards, well, where we put the body and lift the cover up.
She slowly starts approaching the front of the church, seeing where her now acknowledged son appears to be lying. And she comes and stands over him, very composed, and then drops to her knees. Just starts sobbing into his chest.
I'm going to give her some space.
Yes, I'll bow my head.
And like almost in sync, the three guards take their helmets off. Like the two guards that have joined her take them off very quickly, and then after a moment put them back on. They're kind of like standing flanked to either side, you know, a little bit of a distance, just next to the pews. Oh, my boy, my boy. And she kind of stands up and draws from like this third mitt that she kind of has. She draws her handkerchief from it and
Lutetia looks disappointed. It's a wave of a coin purse. What's the correct? Is it Is it actually a my lady? Were you talking to a baroness? I don't know.
I think it is, my lady. Yeah.
My
I
lady.
mean, you could call the lady. I mean, you're not amongst the etiquette, so
No.
you know.
Why did your husband deny him?
She looks at you for a moment and then looks to the gate guard. I believe you have work here still, but if you could give us a moment. He's like, of course, my lady. Bows his head and kind of like exits like along the wall on, you know, not going up the aisle past her. He kind of like goes around the outskirts of church and like, kind of like scuttles off for a bit. And as he kind of like leaves, she looks between her own guards and then you two,
But my lady,
She kind of like holds a hand up. I believe I will be fine here and safe. I'll stand outside for a moment, but please forgive the cold. There's little I can do about that. The guards kind of like take a step back, give each other a look, and then just look at you for like, we will come in here and fucking murder all of you. I was watching among you.
my lady.
They kind of like stepping back, like kind of walking backwards, still looking at you guys. And then one opens the door and goes through, and the other one just gives another look.
What a
Close the
tribe.
door too.
Get her.
This how we die.
We. It is hard to say such things and still save face, but I will say it plain. The reward that my husband, the Baron, placed on the return of our son, or knowledge of his whereabouts, is not something that he can afford to pay. We...
Excuse me?
And she just looks at you and daggers you.
I am going to give you a slap behind the back. Like,
I had to sweet talk a troll, an ice troll for you. So that's not a good answer.
mm,
And yet, it is the one that I have come and bared my soul to explain to you plainly. The money that you desire does not exist. The town of Hundlestone has suffered under this winter for far longer than we thought we would have to. There has been no trade that has come through the town. We have had to purchase more food and supplies from the outlying settlements of Fireshear and Ironmaster, more than we would normally have to, and for longer than we would normally. Were it any other time, the coffers would run well enough, and my husband is a man of pride. Prideful enough that he was willing to sacrifice his own son and not claim him and let him get cast into dirt, because he did not want to take the body back that he could not afford to purchase. I, on the other hand, am coming here to let you know that I will be
You cut off to let you know that you will be.
taking my son. Payment or no.
Of course.
it's not like we are ever going to stop you. He is your son. Why would we?
Why indeed? And she looks at Leticia.
He wears. I do not know if your husband told you this, but you may want to take it now for yourself. He bears his signet ring.
Of course.
If you would like me to, I will retrieve it for you.
There is no need. We will be taking the body back with us up to the keep. We have brought my carriage and a wagon. It waits outside.
And if you'll permit me, I will move him, or would you rather have your guards?
And you can see there's this air about her of like of propriety, and then it's like, but then she kind of remembers herself. And if you found him where I believe he was going, then you have carried him far enough, good sir. And she tips her head ever so slightly. You know, you are not nobility, but she offers you the kind of courtesy of a nod.
Oh, fuck's sake. He was wielding this. And I will not draw the weapon in front of her, but I will pat it. It has not yet completed the charge he set out to fulfill with it. But if you wish to have it to honour his memory, then it belongs to him, and I will of course return it to you.
It wouldn't do little good to us. It is no family heirloom. His father would not wield it. You said it has not finished its charge. You intend to set out and do that which my son was unable.
I do. I glance at Lutetia when I say it.
If I may ask, what was your son's purpose? Who did we lose?
We lost Letitia. She's back.
Welcome back.
The Baron placed a reward for those that could deal with the scourge on the mountain. We have known about it through all of the winter, from when it first came. When it became clear that we were not going to be able to pay such a reward, not at the expense of feeding the people in the town, then my son took it upon himself to go and do it before anybody that might claim such could. Fortunately,
Yeah.
it took from us not even all the money. Can now not bring back. When the tears come again and she quickly dabs her eyes and tries to, you can see like grit in her teeth trying to hold it back. There is no money in Hundlestone. Not until the winter passes.
About that.
That we understand. And excuse me, my lady, but would you or your husband be interested in hearing the whole story of how we came upon your son and in what circumstances this all happened?
And she kind of like turns her head and kind of has a slight cock to her and seems that there is perhaps more, both his tale and yours. Speak it to me. I dare say that if I brought you back to the keep, Baron is not going to be pleased enough as when I return with our son anyway. Knowing that I've had to come and plead for him. If there is something to be told, then better from my mouth than yours, I fear. Please.
Out of character question. If we're going to start explaining, and do we need to roleplay the entire thing?
We do
It's a
not
lot
know.
to tell.
If there's anything
The
that you
winds howled, milady.
spiders as big as houses. Is
Told
there
the
anything?
gun in
Frogs
last
that
time.
almost
Yeah.
frogs that can almost kill you by swallowing you whole.
Is there okay? So, is there anything you want to leave out collectively.
I'm just imagining describing the huge, fearsome ice troll, enormous yetis, giant mane frogs, and which one felled my son? Oh, a snowman.
Well, I mean, you don't know
He
the
just
full
fell.
ins and
He
outs.
just could have fucking fallen in.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know how he died. Though he had no broken bones.
Ah,
To be fair, what we could gather was that he died of exposure to cold.
Yes.
Possibly.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely. I don't think he had any wounds on him. I don't think bones. He was frostbitten straight through. How that came to be, the events leading up to it, obviously, you do not know. So, is there anything we'll kind of like say that you're kind of like going through, you're explaining how you got up there, you're explaining fighting the Yeti, and you found him in the room, and you found these people, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then we get to the point where you're going to go into Frostbeard.
Yeah, I suppose it does kind of depend on who's talking. I don't think we could actually.
So that's the bit we probably shouldn't gloss over. So if there's nothing you're trying to cover up to that point, then that's fine. But I think the who's and the what's and who's saying what of how things transpired there should probably be spoken about.
I would like to describe it. Feel free to disagree. I wouldn't like to outright lie, but I would like to describe it that the wounds we had taken, the state of the fort. We found ourselves in a position where we weren't equipped to overthrow the beast there and then. So content that we had severely reduced his forces for now, and having retrieved the baronet's body, we decided best to withdraw and return another time, which Zagris fully intends to do. His epilogue is going to be going back and just so over-leveled. You can the shit out of this guy.
Look at him, assuming he will live to see the epilogue.
So we're playing it that when faced in front of him, that collectively you decided that now was not the time to try and take him down, even though personal feelings at the time were mixed.
Yes.
Roll me a... I'm going to say persuasion check, but only because there's an element of withholding the truth. I don't want to make it. It's not a pure deception, so I'm just going to go a persuasion check with advantage.
Is that from me?
Gris, yeah, if you're doing most of the speaking. Okay.
Could be worse.
Yeah, she's listening to your words, and like there's just a moment where she falls. You can see she goes like very grim and kind of like stiffens up as you mention finding the body and finding the people that he'd been traveling with, who from her kind of like a slight kind of downcast glance, it's fair to say she probably knew some of the men that had gone up there as well that he was with.
I don't know if it will help to say that we gave them some sort of burial.
But we did.
Or memorial.
Well, she lit a candle. I mean, if you're saying you buried them,
Oh yeah.
Not
she lit a candle.
burial.
She said some words. And she gives a nod, and then, if you do indeed intend to head back up the mountain, we will spare any and all that we can. Better, more of you, I imagine, to face such a creature, particularly one that seemingly has the charge of a dragonling. And she kind of like, that's the bit that almost has disbelief on it. Like all the rest of this story, that's the bit that's kind of like, wow. If that is your intent, then I think it fair that you hold on to that weapon that should hopefully aid you in our cause, you would have the favor of all of us. From the barony, the town, from here to Luskan. If you are able to fell such a creature.
My only regret is that we had not been able to earlier. Hearing all of the accolades we would have been afforded.
We're horrible.
This is not simply an issue that affects Hundlestone. It affects us all in the north. We have allies, though they have grown more strained the longer this winter has gone on. Both of Ironmaster and of Fireshield, that may put number to your attack to make sure that the job is done once and for all. Do you think it's worth waiting and seeing who will answer the call?
That may be prudent.
I agree. Let it take as fewer sons from us as possible. I will take my son and your words and your offers of courage back to the Baron. I would I wish I could offer you better hospitality and to come dine with us as guests, but I fear it may take some time for the Baron to agree to all of this and arrange things. Do you have somewhere to stay in the meantime?
The coach
Somewhere
house is to be our lodgings. I think.
Mm.
Was it coach house?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah,
That's,
you've
that's
assume
what the
yes.
guard said.
been told that there is no taverns and inns.
That would let us in at this hour.
Sorry, Aggie, I've literally only just seen your message. You're always going to be better to try and message me directly through Foundry.
Yeah, it's fine. I figured that later. I was going to whisper, and then I was like, it's too late already because we figured it out. So it's fine.
Oh,
No
okay,
worries.
okay. Just to say though, in future, no, because there is verbal components, thematic components.
Oh,
So
God.
no, nothing shaded. Nothing shaded. I think it was less about you, more about everyone else. But that is just a public thing, just so everybody
Okay.
knows.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the coach house. Very well. I will send a messenger as soon as I have information. It may take a day or two. Where is it you're heading? Few are heading to Hundlestone for any reason in particular.
This is not us pausing in character. I think
Oh.
this is us pausing in real life,
yeah,
trying
it's
to
just-
remember the destination.
No, our goals take us even further north in the future, lady.
To Icewind Dale.
Trying to find
Truly.
the name of who we're after. I can't find it in my notes.
Oh dear.
Who we're after? Do you mean
Well,
Sribbits?
3 bits,
We're
Yeah,
right?
no, I've got. It's obviously somewhere in my notes. It's our.
Duck it!
There we go. Yeah, in 10 Town, East Haven,
Oh,
Northeastern Settlement, the 10
10
Town. Ask for Ducket. There we go.
Oh yeah.
So,
that's-
so wait a minute, DM question.
After
Where are we
him?
now compared to Hunterstone? Like, how far are we from it?
How far are you from East Haven and 10 Towns?
No, from Hunterstone.
Oh, no, you're in Hundlestone.
Oh, why is the pin at selfie stop? Like, that's why I was
Oh.
confused. There was like a pin.
I mean, selfie stops the tavern. That's
yeah,
when
the
you.
tavern, right? Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
was like, maybe we're just not so far away from the
No,
tavern,
no,
so
no,
you
no.
didn't move it, but we're not all the way through Hunterstone.
No, sorry. I will move it
That's
now.
The pin is important.
That's
I
important.
should have followed and been there for like the last 2 weeks. It's my fault.
Well, I think I have mentioned that we're in Hundlestone many times in this session, I believe.
Man, names in English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. We are currently in Hundlestone, yes.
Okay. And from there, we want to go to 10 Towns, which is the next stop and the last thingy before no more civilization, right?
Yeah. 10 Towns is a collection of, believe it or not, 10 towns.
That's crazy. Who comes up with this
shock.
stuff? I'm mind blown.
So mad.
Mind blown.
So, where is it that you are heading?
Well, to a collection of 10 Towns.
Yes, 10 Towns is correct.
Truly.
Apologies, it's been a long day. Because I am
Yeah.
cracking up.
So yeah, take it easy on us, love. I know your son's dead, but we're pretty knackered. We wouldn't believe the day we've had.
I never saw you die twice.
And she, of course, and she kind of like remembers herself for a moment. Where is the father, Father Denra?
About that.
Ah. Your gods, we stumbled upon a most terrible set of circumstances here involving a spirit, 2 spirits in fact. Your gods have been fully appraised. It relates to the murder of a school teacher several months ago. Unfortunately, I'll point to the other body. That is the father.
Very well. She's kind of like is just so unsettled. Like she kind of like puts her hand on a pew to steady herself. Like, the guards are in front. Very well. I will send for you when we have made preparations. If you are in no rush to head into Icewind Dale. If you have the days to spare here whilst we arrange things, and then suppose the week for heading back the way you came, you do us a great service.
So you say, would you do us a great service?
She says you do us a great service.
Oh.
She's presuming that you're already committed to spending weeks doing this.
I'll just bow my head. I feel like out of character I've lost track a bit there of what we're saying. Is she's referring to a service being avenging the Frost Troll? Yeah.
Well, obviously, she's saying that she can muster people from Ironmaster and Fireshear and Hundlestone, but it'll take a little while to get them here, and then you can travel with more people. but it obviously takes time for them to get here and for them to put that kind of thing into action. So that depends whether you have the time to wait for it and the journey there and back.
I think in character I would agree to it, and if that means that the others carry on without me and I catch up, yeah, I think Gris wanted to do it, being offered the ability to be bloody fortified, but yeah, Gris agrees.
Okay. What of the others?
I mean, I'm not going to disagree right now.
Okay, sure. Okay, this might be a conversation to have afterwards. Okay, and then.
Are you sure, Sir Grace?
Okay, then she again a slight gesture of the head signifies thanks. I will have my guards come and reclaim the baronet. Please, no word of this to anyone in the town or beyond. If word of this gets back to my daughter, then I fear she will take it far worse.
Your daughter, milady?
Yes, the young Baroness, Lady Anari, my daughter. This was briefly mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just.
It's like a son, only female.
I'm mostly passing how she'll hide it, but that's none of our concern. Fine.
Thank you once again for all that you have done and all that you have agreed to do thereafter. And Martha's blessings to you all. And she gives another slight nod and then turns and click, click, click of her heels as she's walking on the flags to the door. And a few moments later, the guards come in and take the body just of the young lord and ferry him out into the snow. If you are all just staying here congregated.
Yes.
And a few moments, the gatehouse guard comes in and he's kind of like at the doorway and says, I don't know what's going on, but the fact that you're not being locked up by the Baroness suggests that whatever's happened here seems to be dealt with in some form. I'll take word back to my captain about I'll tell your words true as you spoke them. I would suggest that you steer clear.
Was there any interaction between her and the guard, or between her guards and the guard that we would know of?
Her guards and the gatehouse guard?
Yeah.
Well, when he walked out, he went, "Fuck you, what are you doing here?"
Yeah, I suppose.
So they obviously know each other.
Yeah, that's how he talks to the Baroness.
But I think, kind of like gauging the reaction, it was clearly more of a relief of not ghosts, but but there seems to be some familiarity between the guards. It's only a small town; everybody probably kind of knows everybody, within reason, of varying degrees.
Sure.
But yeah, so he's at the door. If you wish to say or do anything.
Right
then. Yes.
Right.
You don't come back here. We'll have guards watching over this place tonight, watching over the father's body, and we'll make arrangements to have somebody else to tend to him I don't know who.
We have no intention to linger.
Mind yourselves at the coach house. Points his ear, and he kind of bites his tongue. That bastard over there seems to be running everything amok at the moment. Watch your pockets. He'll steal from him, even stood in front of you.
Who is this that we should be wary of?
He's kind of in the doorway, just like Black Friar. You'll know him when you see him. You'll make sure of it.
Thank you.
Fair nights and fairer days. Bows his head.
Wouldn't he be going Wouldn't he be going the same way we are?
Oh, that's,
Necessarily.
that's
The
awkward.
gatehouse.
Bloody
This-
awkward now, lad.
The coach house. The coach house is not back towards the gatehouse. It was round the other side. She said. She said follow the road back down.
Alright,
So she
alright,
went off into
sure.
the distance. Yeah. Oh right. Oh yeah. You're all right. So he grips up, and the four of you are left, and with decisions that have been possibly made. So, Chris.
Hmm. We cannot pass up the opportunity to use these rallied forces to go and dispatch Frostbeard.
Nope.
The combined might of several settlements.
We
already know
cannot
the way?
betray.
You cut off then, sorry, Aggie.
Oh, I said we cannot betray him. He's my friend now. I'm not gonna stab him in the back. Now he thinks that he's safe.
Does it not occur to you, Letitia, how much he will ravage that area? He made no attempt to even conceal his intent to hunt and prey upon them.
Yes, but he's only following his instinct and he's not killing for fun. He's just killing to survive.
But he is in fact
I mean-
killing and preying upon the local populace.
Indeed, but the locals can still move south. I mean, this isn't the most hospitable place to live in anyway. They can just go somewhere when it's not winter and let the, Frostbeard eat yetis or whatever he wants, They don't have to be there. He has to.
So they should move away and change. And what if the place they move to, some other warlord moves in who can prey upon them? Should people just move all the time?
But now you're talking about a warlord. You're not talking about a creature that's only following his survival instinct. He's not gaining anything from them. He doesn't want to get rich. He doesn't want to get power. He doesn't want to rule over, a set amount of space. He just
Well, that
wants
we don't
to eat.
know.
And he
I mean, he's-
spreads, by his own admission, a gift from an unknown benefactor that spreads an endless winter. And he
Yeah, but
described
that's
it would
because
make
it's
it even colder. It will make it even more
can't get-
inhospitable. It will spread.
Yeah, but you can't kill someone just because he's stupid and has been tricked. Otherwise, more people would
I
be
see
dead
no
already.
reason to presume it is a trick.
Seems to know what he's doing. He said as much.
He is
He's
he
not
is an
that smart.
agent. He is an agent of
No,
another
no,
force who is smarter.
He doesn't seem to possess the intellect just to be scheming and doing that. I think he's more like just following what he has been told. Maybe if we find the source of the powers he has, we can deal with it instead of dealing with him.
He
We
still
should at
needs
least
to
try.
be dealt with. I certainly
Fair
intend
enough, but
to accept the
if
offer
we
from
do
these
that-
guards.
if we do that, I suggest we capture him. We do not kill him. I will not be responsible of his death.
I look to Trelios and Eileen.
How do you imagine that, Isha?
So we
What
have
kind-
the advantage
what-
to know
what-
his lair, and
Yes.
we know what he's doing. We know his habits. We can lay a trap
Not really,
and
no.
cap.
We don't know anything at this point. He might have moved. Easily. He is now discovered. Said he uses instincts. His instinct might be strong enough to help him now.
I mean, when we asked him if he's willing to move from the cave, he said that he was feeling good there and that he had no intention of moving, which is why we want to kill him now, right?
I don't mean he moved away from the area.
He was unwilling to move. He was unwilling even to commit to not preying on the people. He was
Yes.
unwilling to limit his hunting areas, and presumably, as he draws more forces to him, those ranges will need to increase.
The situation might have already changed. It's been a couple days, and it will be a couple more before we are even able to go there again. Get there again.
I agree, but as like you said, he's hunting in the area, so we can lay traps. We can use, tainted meat to paralyze him or to poison him, to weaken him. We don't have to kill him. We can at
And
least
once
try.
we have him captured, what do you intend then?
Well, we keep him captured until we deal with the source of the problem, and then we can, release him. Because he won't be able to stay here anymore, because the powers that allow him to bring winter with him would be void.
I intend to slay this creature.
And I do feel like this is an appropriate course of action. Eileen?
This is a problem because I'm seeing both situations. Well, I'm hearing both parts of the argument. And I'm thinking, Sigrist, I want to slay him, correctly?
Sorry, say that again?
I was asking that you want to slay him, correctly?
I think that is the safest outcome for the region.
Hmm?
Diplomacy
Well,
was soundly rejected by him.
While at the same time, Leticia, you say that you wish to offer him a chance, to consider him to be one human.
Not exactly, but yeah. I think he is too dumb to realize what he's doing, but I don't think he means harm. He's just following his instinct. So we should treat him as we would treat a wolf or a bear. We try,
Well.
No, I mean that.
Mm.
Okay. Maybe it's a bad example because you humans eat bears and wolves. I'm sorry, like something you can't eat, but you can try to drive away.
You do as well, darling. You do as well. We know. But since
I
you
only
mentioned
eat
that
saber
you...
tooth.
I will accept that. Yes, Leticia, darling, exactly so. If push comes to shove, is my suggestion. Treat him as an equal. Fight him for the right to rule the land. If he accepts, then that's going to be a fight. If he does not, then we are going to cross that bridge when we get to it. Fight him as an equal.
As an equal? How do you propose that, Eileen? I'm sorry, but I don't see that fight. Equal. In any setting.
Said the fish person.
What do you mean by that, Leticia?
I mean that, let's imagine your people have to move from whatever pond you're from, and you're given a little trinket that allows
Fucking
you
hell.
that allows you to move, a large body of water to put it somewhere else where you can save all your people. Would you do that? Or would you just say, nah, there are probably people there that are not my race, that are not me, that I'm gonna care about more than my people that are maybe dying now and that cannot survive without eating?
I don't think that's how water works, darling.
Yeah, but that's not how winter works either. But he's moving winter south, so we have to
You
use our imagination here.
You poxy little pond.
I don't feel like I fully comprehend your tirade. And I don't see any people of this thing.
Maybe they're all dead. Maybe he's the last one. How sad is that? Think of it.
Well, let's put him out of his misery then.
That's a way of seeing it. I mean, it's cold, but it's a way of seeing it.
Well, one thing I know is we have hurried for too long. Soon the gods might come here in numbers and they won't be happy to see us still lingering about. Let's get to the stage.
Okay,
The
all I'm
coach.
asking is we give him a chance. We don't.
We gave
Just
him a
jump
chance
him in
when
the
we
cage.
asked him. We asked him
The
several
situation has
times in
changed.
several stages.
Maybe we use too complex images and words to explain to him. Maybe we need to be more simple in our approach, because I don't think he has the reasoning capacities that we have.
There's
He reasoned
more to
with
consider.
you last time. He reasoned with you to the point where you were happy to leave.
He didn't reason. He played with me like a kid would play. He drank beer. He told me he wants to eat. He told me we're his friends because we didn't attack him, and that's it. He wasn't, he didn't have the level of intellect and reasoning we have. So just humor me for 1 second. What if we try to steal the trinket from him that brings winter, and we just move it north? He will follow. We save the
Is
people without
he-
killing him.
Letitia, excuse me for asking, but is he not the one who brings winter? Him himself? I never got the impression that the winter is coming from a trinket.
He had
Yeah, he
a
said, didn't he?
peculiar winter veil that he'd been given the gift from the bird lady, which through your studies that evening, not that evening, when you got back to the tavern, through your myths and lore, the only bird lady that you could find reference of was Oril the Frostmaiden.
That's the name of the game.
So hang on. hang on. So is the veil something? It's like a power, or is it a trinket he has?
No, he literally had like a snowy, icy sheet wedding veil over his face.
Okay. So he
It
had
was
the
described. It was not on the artwork. It was described multiple times.
So we can steal it.
That's up to you guys.
Yeah.
Don't tell me.
And then we can bring winter wherever we want.
Oh wow.
Oh, we're playing the right game.
So you think we will be able to remove it from his face and have that not lead to a violent encounter?
So I have a plan. We poison some meat. We put it everywhere around the lair. We wait till he eats. And when he's like sleeping and paralyzed, we can steal it and maybe even imprison him. And if we can't imprison him, at least we steal the veil. And he will have no choice but to leave. Because
We have
it's
days
not...
to discuss all this.
Then
I do
let's do
believe
that
for
later.
now we agree that we are staying here and then trying to resolve the situation in one way or the other. Is that correct?
We don't have to tell the guard that. We just have to tell them that we will deal with it, and that's all I'm asking for. And if we don't succeed, Sir Grace, you have my blessings to be the brutal. No, just kidding. I know you're doing this for a good reason. I'm just trying to see both sides.
Okay. So, by the sounds of it, where we're laying at is Letitia is now accepting that it isn't necessarily something that nothing should be done about it. You just don't think you should necessarily be going killing Frostbeard, and you would sooner see alternate methods of ending what is the inherent problem of the encroaching winter by removing this trinket versus killing him. And if that fails to succeed, you don't succeed in getting the trinket, or battle ensues, then the gloves are coming off. Is that right? So we've tried diplomacy, now we're going to try sneaky, and then the last result is just killing him.
Yes.
Okay. So there is one element. The second element then is, are you going to bring other people on board? Are you going to wait however long it takes for them to come, and then the remaining time to travel those people back to Frostbeard? Because it felt like this was the thing that Tyrelos kind of like paused on and wasn't sure about the time it's going to take for you guys to wait around.
Yeah.
That might be risky. Personally, I don't think that I am comfortable knowing that a lot of people are going to come and probably die.
I mean,
Well,
action economy.
I agree with Eileen.
if we are to play games with the beast, it seems unfair to lead people who think they're going to do battle with the menace, than to just see us trying to save its life.
Everything would be better served by this beast being killed. What do you think? Lutetia has given her thought. Eileen and Trurelios, what are your thoughts on whether this creature should be killed or not?
Oh, I already agreed with you, Sir Chris.
That's true. That is true. Eileen?
With me, it's complicated. I see what Lutetia is trying to tell us, but I also see your point. I don't know what would be better. It's basically her way of saying that she's neutral, so whatever it is that you are.
Well, you can't do that. If you're gonna go killing it, you're gonna go kill. If they decide they're gonna go killing it, you're gonna kill it. If not, you're not. You gotta make a decision.
It's evil. You guys are evil. You just want to kill.
This is gonna be a very difficult campaign for you. You get a pass. You get a pass. You get a pass. You'd been downstairs trying to negotiate with the Wraith and the Skelly Bones and it's trying to kill everybody. They were here first, guys!
I mean, maybe she'll learn, right? But it's our first time she encounters this kind of stuff.
I think it's been handled in character as well as can be. I can appreciate out of character, not frustrations, but like, where do we go from here? But whatever is decided is fine. If Lutetia decides she's not going, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't suddenly break the campaign. Other things happen. It's fine. So everybody needs to kind of decide.
Yeah, I fully expected it first, but this might be Sir Gris disappearing for a few and then popping back up again later.
But Tyrelos is going with you as well, though, so...
Yeah, before I realised that, yeah.
Which isn't a problem. If the party's getting split, I promise you now, it's not a problem. If Lutetia doesn't want to go, she doesn't have to. If Eileen doesn't want to go, she doesn't have to. So don't feel compelled to have to do it for out-of-character reasons to keep the group together. Don't worry about it.
What he's saying is, fuck the group!
I mean, I do have my worries about the time. We were in a rush before, but at least it felt so.
I feel Jolaxel would understand, and would possibly even approve, given it is so close to... What the fuck place were we in before? Where did we start? Luskin!
It's literally a big massive map there.
Yeah. The spread of winter, and the fact that trade had been affected.
That is true.
I cannot imagine he would not see the benefit and the sense in what we're doing.
Well, everyone but us would benefit on a quick resolution of this problem, I suppose. So that is one point that we should consider if we maybe feel like we're up to trying it by ourselves. It would save a lot of people a lot of trouble and probably lives.
Of that, I can certainly agree. Better with just us than bringing anybody else.
And that goes double if we truly agree to try and save this creature's life. I don't feel like dragging everyone else into it would be a good idea in that scenario. Let's get to the coach house and maybe try to sleep on it. We can decide in the morning what we're going to do about it. How does
Voice of
everyone feel?
reason. Voice of reason.
That sounds good.
You suddenly all start to realize how hungry you're feeling, and drained and cold and tired.
Oh, one more thing. What have you found inside that box, Letitia?
Ah, you opened it.
I did indeed. I found a newfound appreciation for creatures that are not human.
I feel suddenly very attacked. Thank you.
I mean, I already liked you. I'm saying I like more other stuff.
You don't wish to say what you found?
It was just an empty box. I put some goodies in it for you guys to try to open it if you want to. Now it's Eileen that has it.
Yeah. What's the point?
I mean,
So cagey, always.
What?
Sorry,
Sorry, I didn't get that. What did you say?
It's so cagey.
Oh, just so cagey. Yeah, absolutely.
What does cagey mean?
Waking being avoidant.
Close.
You kind of like.
Okay,
You know.
out of character. Out of character.
No, you don't have to. You don't
No,
have
no,
to.
you definitely don't. You definitely don't have to.
It's fine. It's fine.
Just so we don't waste time. I haven't spoken with Alex yet. He was busy
Yeah.
today, so we didn't figure out
Well,
yet
no,
what's happening.
We met about 20 minutes before the session started, but his mic didn't work, so we had problems.
Yeah. So
He knows-
I don't want to say too much and like put stuff into motion and
I
then
mean,
when he
I'm
kills
happy-
me, it's
honestly,
like
no.
different answers.
You say whatever you want to say. You can define the narrative here.
No, I prefer to talk
It's a
with you.
diamond skull worth $1 million gold pieces.
It was the second veil of winter. It's mine now. Sorry, no, it was the anti-veil of winter. So now the campaign is over.
The summer star he's got.
No, but yeah, I prefer to, I don't want to improvise it. I prefer to take my time this week with Alex and discuss stuff, and because it's my first campaign.
I
so
think
need
you
time.
would probably be naturally cagey anyway. I think you would. No, I mean you would.
Which brings us full circle to my comment of always so fucking cagey.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
But yeah.
God, why are we the way that we are?
I mean, you guys have got nothing on Bartandless. Like, Bartandless is just the worst.
it was all just a huge waste of time then.
What was
The box.
the
I
box?
know.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it's a magic item. We can hide stuff in it. We can secure it. It's
Again,
actually
you
bigger.
said this,
It's actually
really?
bigger on the inside. It's actually bigger on the inside than it seems.
Let's just go from here.
Are we at the station house yet?
You've not even left.
No, I think we are now leaving.
Yeah.
The,
so
the
now-
Baroness is just awkwardly back into the door.
Okay, that went on for a while, but I think out into the winds, and you are following the heavy tracks the very few that exist in the evening, led by Sugris's torchlight, following which would seemingly be the direction that Jenna's wagon went in not half an hour to an hour ago, I guess. And you are walking for about 5 minutes. It's not, it's not a massive town. And you see, as you're approaching, a well lit up area. This is it looks like at first a tavern with the front side on it, but there is between that and a building to the left, there's like an archway that goes over the top that leads into a larger courtyard underneath, but it's all covered. It's like a big open barn almost. And inside there's lots of noise coming from there. You can smell manure and smoke and ale and distant smells of cooked foods all kind of like mixing together in it. It is as lively a place filled with atmosphere as you have experienced in quite a while. And as you're kind of approaching it and like even a few steps under this open archway shelter, just the sound of horses and people talking, and it doesn't necessarily feel like the happy atmosphere of like a tavern with people reveling or anything. It is a gathering of quite a lot of people. That's kind of like what you can kind of hear. Lots of kind of like conversations going on. And as you're kind of like walking through into this big barn that extends like over 100 feet, into the darkness, and you can see row upon row upon row of these wagons, all kind of like lined up next to each other, in this one long line, like on a little skew. All the horses appear to have been detached, and you can see that there are stables a little bit beyond. This place is, pretty big. It can probably house about 25 wagons. It's like a really, really big place. This is Hundlestone is the main kind of commerce hub between Ironmaster, Fireshear, and 10 Towns, heading towards Luskan. It gets the majority of the trade here. And along the walls there are oil lamps lit and hung kind of, every 40 feet on these thick stone walls, kind of sand and straw flooring, kind of like scattered on this hard flooring throughout. And it just feels a little bit damp in places. It's still pretty cold. And you just kind of get a few kind of like people kind of like looking at you as the four of you approaching these four newcomers, and kind of like looking along. People don't look particularly happy, look a little bit miserable. And you can kind of see a lot of open wagons with cargo and crates still stacked inside them. I presume you want to head in.
Are you three fine with arranging our lodgings? I wish to find Jenna and talk to her immediately.
Of course.
Yes, we are.
Sure. I can secure us some food. You guys need to rest. Go find somewhere to sit and take care of this.
I don't need to be told that twice in my current state.
You good with going on your own, Turielos?
I mean, if you wish to accompany me, I have nothing against it.
It's not like I can sleep anyway.
Okay, so where are you all going?
Just, how would this look like? Like we'd be able to find the wagon?
Yeah, I mean the wagons are all.
Would we rather be asking people around, or is there a place where you?
They're all kind of like lined up next to each other, just like in this one long row, and kind of like looking at the people that are kind of like at the entrance, and kind of like kind of like how settled in they are. It would suggest that they've probably been here the longest. It's fair to say that the late comer is going to be at the other end of it.
Sure. In that case, I just go straight there.
Okay. So you're heading down this row of wagons and caravans looking for Jenna. Eileen, what are you doing?
I'm trailing behind Turielos.
Okay. And then Letitia, what are you doing?
I'm going to look for some food and drinks for everybody.
And Sergris, you are accompanying
Yeah.
Letitia, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. As they kind of like head off down this long kind of like dirt track that kind of like does the length of this large coach house barn, kind of where you've come in on the right, it is obviously kind of like the front of a tavern type thing where there, is presumably an inn. And looking at how many wagons are here and how many people are milling around, either people don't want to stay in there, can't afford to stay in there, or it's full because there's a lot of people out here. And like kind of like looking around, you would say that there's probably a good 40 plus people milling around their wagons and stuff, handling horses. So as you approach the coach house main building, big glass windows, and then this big oaken curved door, and it's already open, and it feels a lot warmer inside. It feels like the smell of food is cooking. It's your nose that kind of like leads you there. And there's a couple of kind of like long bar tables outside, but nobody's sat at them. Nobody's drinking. And when you step inside, it is it kind of like opens up like kind of beyond into something of what looks like a tavern. But before that, there is a little desk that has nobody currently sat at it.
Okay. Can we wait at the desk and maybe look around if someone notices us?
Sure. You're kind of like hanging around for a little while, and then from behind you, welcome. As you turn around, you see this fine fellow.
Ooh.
Welcome. To what do I owe the pleasure of such an evening as this? It's late now.
Is he a tiefling?
He is indeed a tiefling.
Ooh. Does he seem to like recognize that I am one and like there's something happening, or he doesn't care? It's like common occurrence.
I think he's seen tieflings before. You might not
Okay.
necessarily be like crazy common, but
Well,
They
I'm
would
not asking like it's the first time I see one. More like, is there a kinship? Is there an unspoken solidarity between that I could that
Do you
that
feel-
we could?
well,
Tiefling a la tiefling.
I don't know. Do you feel there is between all tiefling that you meet? What is Letitia's feeling towards it?
Do you recognise him
I
from any
mean-
of the meetings?
I mean, Letitia didn't grow up around many tieflings, so she doesn't.
That's fair. Yeah, no, okay, I get what you're saying.
Tiefling
And
solidarity.
he doesn't seem to acknowledge you any more than he does Sergris. He's just kind of like leaning in the doorway.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say good evening. We're looking for some lodgings and some food for the night. We're 4.
Lodgings and food for 4. Mm, this I can do, if you have the gold.
Ah, someone speaking my language here. What will it cost us?
Per night, it is a measly price. 10 gold per person. And he kind of smiles slightly. And it's just this pale white alabaster skin with, just pure dark. He's wearing, dark clothing. He's got this tunic on, but it's across his arms, it's kind of like heavy furred. And he's got these heavy, dark furred gloves on.
As you can see, I'm not really from around here, so I'm not very familiar with the sense of humor here. But we're really tired. We had a long day. Can we just get on with it, please?
Of course, if you wish for 4 rooms, that's 40 gold pieces a night.
I'm just gonna look at Sir Gris and be like, eh.
That seems extraordinarily expensive compared to other establishments. I presume you offer things that they do not. I'm unfamiliar with Hundlestone. What puts this place in such esteem to command such a princely sum? I don't mean, I'd say it as an interested tourist tone, not a,
Sure.
What's of the bullshit, mate?
Well, of course, traveler. I offer what the other establishments in Hundlestone cannot, and that is a bed and a roof, for there are no other active establishments in Hundlestone anymore. There is but this place. And he smiles, his pointy teeth, tiefling smile. And you just kind of see this little tail flick out for a second, its black tail, and kind of like stick back in. And roll me a perception check, both of you. I'm going to go... Yeah. Both of you individually roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Fucking hell, highest perception check I've made, it wasn't a crit.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Perception.
This is what the Monopoly does to people.
Come on.
Okay. Okay.
Buy 'em out, boys!
Gris, for once, you are in your element.
So yeah. I could not help notice. You did not come in a wagon or coach. So I imagine you have no other place to stay for the evening. 40 gold for 4 friends suddenly does not seem so bad on nights such as this.
What? Sorry, what was I perceiving?
You don't know.
Oh!
You didn't perceive.
I didn't perceive it was 16, motherfucker. The one time I roll well, you fucking son of a bitch. Okay, yeah.
Can I'm just going to tell him that we don't need to travel by coach. We travel by more natural means.
You mean walking?
That's not what I meant, and that's not what I meant.
A riddle wrapped in an enigma. How exciting! And he kind of like smiles as he says it, and then he goes, ugh, and he like just drops his face. Like, do you wish to have the rooms, or do you not wish to have the rooms? Okay. 15 gold pieces each. 60 gold pieces for the 4 of you. The price is...
There is a
Risk?
slight possibility
Well,
that my
you're the one who's been leading this conversation, mate, and keeps deciding to take the decisive. Okay, I'm going to say so and so. So I feel like this is yours to wrap up one way or another now. But my coffers are not infinite.
I
You
don't
know,
want to be
you've traveled.
responsible for it.
Well, I mean, we're already in it now. So, just to kind of let you know that as far as 15 gold pieces per person goes,
That's insane, isn't it? If I'm right.
I mean, I wouldn't say insane. You know,
That's crazy.
it's yeah. So
Isn't it Hilton? It's paying for a Hilton when you're expecting a motel.
So basically, this is more than lifestyle expenses. So that's 10. So then 10 gold pieces a day would let you live, drink, and sleep like a king for a day.
We'll take our chances with the snow.
A fine choice. I apologize. When I saw you, I misconfused you. People that actually had money and sense.
Oh, we had money, but we also have brains. So sorry, you're not gonna.
I'm getting a drink while Letitia just burns bridges wherever we go. Back in a second. Fuck me.
Very well.
We'll be returning to something beautiful to realize.
Can we? So, excuse me. We started on the wrong foot here. Can I entertain you with a little game and a little trade?
He kind of like takes this little step into the room. It's got this like weird little kind of like swagger to it. It's like, okay.
This doesn't seem like the place where you get a lot of entertainment. So we have this little curious box that we found during our travels. It's not here actually. My friend is bringing it, but if you can solve it, we pay whatever you want, and I will add what's inside the box on top of it. And if you cannot solve it, we can sleep for free until you do. How does that sound? And on top of that, I can. Do I hear like some music inside or something, or is it just like people talking?
There's music inside here, but there's no chatter inside here. You're quickly getting the vibe that people can't afford to stay here.
Oh, so no one is there actually inside.
Nobody's inside this building. No, there's food cooking. There's people outside, but as I said, they all look a little bit miserable. But yeah.
And I say, and it doesn't seem like. Sorry. It doesn't seem like a lot of people are inside anyway because they cannot afford the price, or maybe they do not deem it, reasonable. What if I can perform one of my songs inside, and maybe it will help some people, jump the. How do you say? I don't know. I lost what I was going to say, but
and he waves his hand. He waves his hand and says, "They either pay me to stay inside, or they pay me to stay outside. Blackfriar is always paid."
What? I hate this guy. I didn't say that in character.
She's just monologuing, and that's when I realized I hate this guy. But I like your offer for your puzzle. And yes, it is not very entertaining, Blackfriar. This I will admit. Something to pass the time. Sounds enjoyable.
Fair enough. Sorry.
If I solve your box, your little puzzle, I have what's inside it. He kind of leans forward a little bit more.
Anything that's inside.
What is inside? You don't trick Blackfriar.
I mean, if I tell you, isn't that like half of the enjoyment gone?
I did not lie when I said a riddle wrapped in it. Love it. Okay. I think we might have deal. You and your friend here. And you say there are two more. The two that came in with you there. And he kind of like just does like a long pointy nose for a beak, like mimicking Eileen's face. And the other one, less familiar. That one. Those are the
Exactly.
four.
The bird lady and the half-naked fish. They're my friends.
Bird lady and half-naked fish. Okay. You go bring your box. I take a look at it and then we make deal.
We have
Deal
a
on
deal.
it. And he holds his hand out. And it's got this
I
kind of
shake.
long spindly hand with like pointed black fingernails.
I shake it, but weirdly because I don't really know. So I'm like, okay.
You are not from around here at all, are you? And he kind of
I told you when I mistook this for a joke. So yeah, I wasn't trying to be mean. I really don't know what's happening around here.
and he's kind of like still got your hand in his hand, and he kind of like pats it with the other hand. It's okay, my Blackfriar. Look, go find your box.
Well, so yeah, we're gonna wait for Eileen and Turielos to come back from their little adventure before we go forward.
Oh, they are going to come back here. Then perhaps you would like something to eat, something to drink.
Why
Yeah.
do I feel that it's a trap?
Because it almost certainly is.
I don't know, but I absolutely love his voice.
What can I interest you in? I have the finest food, first off. I have baked grouse and cashew bread, baked oxen with poached egg and a glass of brandy. Take your fancy, yes? What about braised veal and dried orange with a glass of cider?
Grit is rapidly making mental notes, but doesn't trust this guy. So yes, these are all excellent ideas. For meals,
If
it
you
will not
don't-
cost me 500 gold.
If you don't mind me asking, where do you find all this? It doesn't seem like there is a lot of game or crops around.
He just kind of like turns around and gestures out towards the rows upon rows of wagons and caravans. They cannot travel. They are stuck here for longer than they need. Blackfriar helps them out by taking their wares for a reasonable price.
But I let me guess, that price is not enough to cover a bed inside and a warm meal.
Wow, you hurt me. And he kind of puts his hand on his chest.
Oh no, it's not an insult. I respect that. You see, I also have an establishment very far from here, but I appreciate your sense of business.
And he looks
I
at
could learn from it.
Where is your tavern?
I like pretend that I'm like trying to find it, but I'm kind of looking at the sky and the ceiling, and I'm like, I think it must be there. Not sure. Maybe around there. Maybe to the left. I don't know. But like gesturing to the sky, somewhere in the sky.
And he kind of looks up at the ceiling like, oh, a traveler. His eyes kind of like light up a little bit, and you see this little glow of lamplight, just from, it's like natural light from inside the building, but his eyes widen, like as his picture, they just kind of like glow, like flare for a little. You have definitely come from very far. What is your name?
My name is Lutetia.
Leticia. I have already mentioned I am Blackfriar, but it is now nice to officially meet you. And he takes your hand again and kind of like gives it another little pat. It's for a friend, Blackfriar, you undoubtedly will become. Perhaps your first meal with me is for free. Get a taste of house speciality, the services that we provide.
That's very generous of you. I'll make sure to return the service when you visit mine someday.
I would like that very much.
And I'm going to slip in his hand the little card.
It just comes out of nowhere. He takes it. What does it say on the card?
It It's magical one. Like he can see what he wants to see when he's ready. Like it says how to get to the tavern basically, but
Ooh.
everyone reads it in its own tongue and its own script and all that jazz.
And he looks it over and kind of like as quick as it appeared in your hand, he kind of twists his hand and it disappears from his. Kind of like gives you a little smile. Very interesting. What will it be? The grouse, the oxen, or the veal?
I look at Gris. What do you feel like eating, my friend?
The oxen sounds most interesting.
The oxen it is. And the drinks, normally I do them with specialty. I find that one drink accompanies another better. With the oxen, a glass of brandy, a smoky little number. I think it would appeal to you. Brings out the richness. Oxen.
Don't pour one on my behalf. I don't partake, but I'm sure my companions will.
As it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Meals. 3 brandy, yes?
I know I stepped away for a moment. Did he confirm that there is not an extra charge of his food?
He's already just said that
Established.
he's gonna give this to free to yourself.
it's for free. Yeah.
Feels inclined, and he said, "You got the order, I presume." And these 2 little claws come around the door frame. This little head pops around. This I guess in every sense of the word. Actually, do you know what? Roll me an Arcana check, both of you.
Okay. Canada.
Okay, I'll get you both. This little devilish figure, very small, pops its head around, and you notice it to be an imp, and it is bright red. Kind of looks at you. Of course, Blackfriar. I will do this right away. And he kind of looks over and says, "Make sure that you do. Do not keep our guest waiting." He kind of like clasps his hands together and says, "Please, come inside. It is much warmer in here than out there."
We'll fetch our companions so they're not looking for us, and then we'll join you inside. Otherwise, we'll be wandering around looking for us.
I believe your friend here said that they knew where to find you, but if you wish to make sure they do not get lost along the way, of course, your food will be ready for you when you return.
I'll smile and make to find our companions.
He smiles and gives you a nod.
I nod back.
In the meantime,
You're not back. You're not back.
Turelios and Eileen, you reach the wagon, and Jen is sat there. The horses appear to have already been stabled, and she sat in the wagon, like over the other side of the chair, and she kind of like got around, arm kind of like popped over, and she just sat there eating rations, just thinking to herself.
Jana?
She kind of like starts from. Hi. Oh, everything sorted all right?
Oh, yes. We've made the right decisions, I believe. We've got more answers that we expected to get, to be honest. We seem to be in quite an opportune position. We might even be able to help you and Gillespie
She kind of like perks up. Truly, you mean it?
Yes. It's pretty much decided. The only question is when. It's not far, either way.
So you think you're going to be heading back? I mean, obviously, I can take you back that way if you're ready to travel whenever you need.
Well,
I
that
was
is
only.
something we still need to consider, because there are now options that we did not have before.
Hmm.
We might get some.
But we'll get
We
to
might get
that.
some help.
There might be some help.
It's the general idea, yes.
Sounds like you folks managed to get into it wherever you go. Better or worse, I'd say. It's good to know.
Yes.
For me,
Are you?
sooner rather than later, prices that black fly fella is charging to stay here. Won't be able to stay much longer than a couple of days anyway.
Prices.
Board and lodgings, storing horses, storing the cargo here. Seems like he's got himself quite the little racket.
I sure will look with the yellows.
Sorry, it's a tiefling that's moved in here. Not been around that long by the sounds of it, but long enough long enough to make an impression.
Oh.
It seems that people have come here and had to stay longer than expected. He's been charging an arm and a leg, running up debt, so now it's at the point where most people can't even afford to leave. They're just waiting for the snows to pass so that they can take what's left of the cargo that they haven't had to pawn off to Blackfriar.
It does sound like we might need to. Quite expedient, after all.
Sounds like a plan.
I wonder how our friends are faring. Oh, we'll know soon enough. I really wanted you to. I wanted to alleviate your worries. The way we left.
No, thank you, Tyrelis. I'm glad you're all right. All the more so if you're feeling there's still unfinished business up on the mountain. That is good to hear. And she kind of like just takes a drag of her pipe, which she kind of like had offhand. There's like a little trail of smoke, but she just kind of like had it there. She wasn't even like smoking it. She was like in deep thought of whatever it was. She said, "Come, it's not cold. It's not warm enough out there. Come and get in the wagon."
Are you staying here? Or
Ah,
are there any lodgings or such?
the prices that he's charging ain't worth it. I've slept rougher out on the roads.
See.
I'm comfortable here being around my own people and horses.
Suppose we should check on Lutetia and Sir Kristen. They went inside, I believe.
Indeed, they have. Well, if they are going to be, well, finding ourselves back here, I might as well pick them up.
Yes, we might want to regroup. Wherever it places us.
Kind of like lifts a pipe to you. I'll see you whenever you've got whatever business it is sorted, I think. Just keep me appraised and swing by and say hello every so often. I know enough of the people here. I'm in good company, don't you worry.
Good. Good to hear.
Very good. Take care of yourself, Jenna. We'll be back.
And she kind of lifts a pipe to you again and takes another puff. And as you kind of like chat in and you kind of like Luke and like the caravan to the left, to the right of Jenna, the one that at some point had come in before her. There is an older man. He's got like this long white beard that kind of like goes down to his belly, but then it's like been wrapped up around, I don't know, like a stick or something, like tied up so it's out of the way, and like just like a bit of a knot in it. And he's kind of like just been idly watching your interaction with Jenna, and he just, as like you kind of like turn away and like catch eyes, he just kind of like just gives you a nod, like like if you almost like an acknowledgement that if you're good with Jenna, you're good. Kind of like gives you a little nod. There's like just this wizened old man on his stoop, kind of like watching people.
Interesting.
And as you kind of like turn away, kind of like at the other end of the kind of courtyard, you see in the lamplight the figure of Letitia and Sir Gris kind of like approaching.
Well, they're out here as we're approaching. That probably means we got kicked out of the tavern.
Very much possible. Let's hear them. Guess we rejoin.
Very fine. Well met. So, are we sleeping in the cold?
I look to Letitia, who, having done all the negotiation, I feel she'll get to share the news.
Sorry, what?
You did all the negotiation, so I think you should get to share the news.
Oh yeah. We found rooms and actually a hot meal, but I'm sorry, Eileen, I have to get that box back from you for a bit. Borrow it.
I look confused, but nevertheless, I give you back the box.
Okay, then I'm happy. Come on, follow me. We go in.
Okay. You head back, and as you're kind of like you've been walking, half of the length of all these wagons, the people here look, I guess, not miserable because they are somewhat among familiar company, but there's lots of grumbles and groans, and they don't look like they're all necessarily enjoying themselves. He just like like just coughs in the distance, and just the mumbled mutterings among people that you're kind of quickly gauging from the two, the different conversations you've had, that these people have probably been here for a while. And without another word, I guess you you head back to the inn, and you go inside, and instantly Turelios and Eileen, you feel that it's so much warmer, and it leads through into this back room that it doesn't look like a traditional tavern. It's more like kind of like a lounging area, and there is booths kind of like all along one wall. They've got like a table in the middle, and you can it'll sit four on either side, like these little eating booths. And then there's a door that goes into a kitchen in the back, and then stairs that go up somewhere else. But it's only, it's probably about 40 feet in length, maybe 20 feet wide. So it's not like a huge room, this one. It's like on the very front of this coach house building. And as you kind of come in, Blackfriar is already sat at one of the booths, and it's the first time Turelios and Eileen just see this motley black and white tiefling. He kind of like shifts slightly, and he always kind of like, every time he moves, it's just kind of like, it's always just very fluid as he kind of like, and I'm going to say it without being too, very snake-like. Not to be too leading. Kind of like, your friends, welcome. Please, come, sit down. He kind of steps up from the booth that he was sat on and gestures for you to kind of sit where he was sat in that booth. I am Blackfriar. Welcome to my new establishment.
Yeah, may I insight check that? Because that's the voice of somebody who wants to sell me something which actually belongs
How
to me.
racist. That is
Yeah,
speciesist. That is his natural native accent.
that's rude. How dare
So
you
rude.
speak that way to my friend?
Roll me. Just making friends everywhere he goes. Roll me an
Yeah.
insight check, please.
She didn't mean it like that.
It was in the
I've got
name.
loads of tiefling mates.
Oh, I hate Tiefling, but the ones that I know are alright.
Hmm.
Okay, insight check to determine what. I mean, he's clearly laying thick on the smiles and charisma.
Or
A little bit
does
too
he look like he
thick.
wants to sell me something?
I mean, you literally have an image of him there, so does it look like he wants to sell you something? I think it looks like he wants to sell you something. That's why I chose this image and photoshopped a little smirk on his face and a raised eyebrow. So yeah, he looks like you should almost always, most definitely, tread carefully around this kind of character. Your mum and dad taught you well. Yeah, kind of like gestures.
I actually imagined that I was probably swindled by somebody at one point in life.
Your prejudices are showing.
I know, it's unbelievable. I was swindled by somebody that looked just like him, because they all look the same.
The worst part
Unbelievable.
is that my internet bugged up, so I never got the image in the first place. I have no idea who I'm looking at.
Oh, well, you should have just said, that's this guy. Yeah, they do all look the same, though, these tiefling fellas.
You guys are so racist, I can't even.
We're going to get cancelled. Going to get us all cancelled.
You are one to talk.
So, that is what Blackfriar looks like. And I will say Eileen and Turlios can now roll me a perception check.
Too many perception checks here. He's some sort of meat puppet, isn't he? One of our viewers has just said she's in the process of cancelling us right now.
And Eileen, can you also roll? No, actually, that's okay. Okay. As he steps up, and kind of like moves to one side. Actually, you know what? Actually, Griff, can you make it again? Another perception check.
I can if my character sheet will open. There we go. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Turelios, you notice it. Kind of like everybody's watching, and Eileen's kind of like eyeballing him, and Letitia and Griff have already kind of like spoke to him and stepped in. As he steps out and they're stepping in with the lamplight, you kind of see the reflection of the lamplight in his eyes, and you don't know what it is, and you don't know why, but this guy doesn't cast a shadow.
What does it mean?
I will let everybody can roll me a knowledge check of their choice to see if you think you might know anything. You get to choose which one it is. Any of the knowledge skills, I will let you roll one.
So what is exactly?
Well, actually, no. The rest of you don't know. Actually, you would only know. Well, it was about this shadow. So Tyrelis can roll at the moment.
Nope. Nothing.
Okay. Sorry. So the rest of you shouldn't be rolling yet because there's only Turelios that's noticed that he has no shadow. Sure. Yeah. But in the event that this is mentioned at any point,
Yeah, I'll make a roll if that does come up.
sure. Oh yeah.
And I just invited him to my tavern.
Yeah. Stranger danger.
We can deal with that.
Okay. Cool. So he kind of like steps out and kind of like slinks out and please.
Other noises.
Does everybody get in Does everybody get into the booth of death? Sorry, the booth.
I will get in last. I'll be trying to find. So Gris is trying to find it hard to reconcile his role as normally being the one who's kind of a bit of almost like bodyguardish and checking things out, being weighed against currently having 12 HP.
Oh boy.
This is fine. We're fine.
Okay. Presumably, one by one, you all sit at the booth.
Yes.
Okay. And he kind of like steps over to the other side of the room and just kind of like pulls a chair, but he doesn't pick it up. He kind of like grabs the back of it, this wooden chair, and just drags it on two legs, and drags it across the wooden floor, but really slow, like,
Mm.
and deliberately as he's kind of like walking over to you. Just a smile, just walking, just
Why
dragging.
do I feel in danger?
And then he kind of puts it down and just obviously it's facing the wrong way, and he kind of like straddles it on either side, leaning on the back of the chair. But he pulls the chair right up to the table. So you guys are in the booth, and it's like almost invasive. He's like kind of like pushed right up to the table, and he's kind of like leaning in with you all. So we have a box. Let me see your little puzzle.
I gave it to him. I think Alien gave it to me, so I gave it to him.
He said it.
Yeah.
He kind of takes this puzzle, kind of turn it over in his hands, and like the little runes light up as he kind of like touches them and turns them, and as like the runes light up a little bit, you can kind of just see the glimmer and the glow in his eyes. And like, fascinating. Where did you get such a thing?
I
In the
found
snow.
it during my travels in a cave, a dark cave, snowy cave.
Dark, snowy cave. Find that all the best thing we found it. Secrets. Those most of all.
Hmm?
So,
Cut you off a bit.
secrets, those most of all, they are kept in. So, and he kind of puts the cube in front of him. He's kind of like got a nail on it. He's kind of like rocking it on one of its like edges back and forth. So what deal do we have here? I keep this, and once I solve your puzzle, you have to start paying me coin to stay here.
That sounds like a fair deal.
And I
All
get
As
right,
long as it is
imagine-
closed.
I imagine with a minimum number of days. At
You
least
can have,
one.
of course. Tonight you may stay, while I play with your little trinket. It
So
should
if I'm
be
just waiting for him to be like, he casts knock, it opens. That would be 40 gold.
60 now. That was the price that it went up to.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We'll see. We'll see whether we end up as friends or not. Okay. And he holds his hand out over the table to Letitia. A deal that I can most certainly agree with.
Just a question to DM to go outside. So does he have the same rules as us? He can only make one check per day to open it?
Does it have the same rules, DM? I think it was you got to make a check after 3 hours of using it. But you were only
was it-
using it during. Well, you'd only used it once per day, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, so once.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah, I shake on the deal. It's fine.
Excellent. And I get to keep
3
what is
days is better
inside.
than none.
I get to keep what is inside here.
Everything that's inside is yours.
Exciting. He kind of picks it up again. He's like, very well. And he kind of like gestures his hands and roll me a perception check. All 4 of you. DC 17.
Mm.
Kind of like, just kind of like switches it. And Eileen, you see just like a really casual but elegantly like placed toss towards himself that kind of like goes into this little pocket in these like fur sleeves that he's got. For everybody else, it's just disappeared from his hands. But Eileen, you kind of see it is just very much sleight of hand that he kind of like throws it into his thing.
Wait, I didn't really understand. What did he do?
He's basically made it look like it's just disappeared, like from his hands. To everybody else, it's just disappeared. But it was just sleight of hand. You saw him kind of like tuck it away really quickly, like in this subtle motion. So you saw that it was just trickery over magic, but everybody else has kind of like seen it disappear.
Ah, okay, I get it.
You observe
you.
it, lady. And I'm actually going to give you, with that 20 perception, that as he's doing it, you're kind of like noticing this thing, like kind of like looking at his hands over the table where there's lamplight. You notice that he's not got a shadow either. And
Processing
you
information.
can roll me any type of knowledge check that you.
I'll go for history, just because I don't think medicine was going to help me in this time.
Okay.
Mm.
History will also work. As you kind of see him move his hands around, and that he has no shadow, you kind of like instant processing of what it could be. What could be creature, monster, demon, this, that, the other, and then you look up and you catch. When you were watching him do this gesture with his hand, you catch like a little clasp, that almost like cufflinks at his wrist, and it is like a little. At first, it looks like a little triangle type thing, and you quickly realize that it is a symbol of the deity Mask, and it is known. It is known that Mask was. And I'll give you with your religion and the history check, that Mask is the Lord of Shadows, and he's the god of shadows and thieves amongst Faerunes.
He's a bad man.
The clergy of Mask are masquerans, and they typically cast no shadow. So it would seem that he is an ordained and established, potentially worshipper, cleric, or something of Mask. Processing.
Processing is the best way of putting it. If you don't mind me asking, sir.
Blackfire.
Sir Friar.
Thank you. So, Blackfire, how did you come to be here?
I traveled here by natural mean. And he looks at her. I walked. I was originally from the north. 10 towns. I came here not long after the long winter really set in. I was fortunate to get here when I did. It is almost impossible to get up there now. The snow and the terrain, it grows worse every day. Very few can make it. Few, but not none.
That's comforting. I ask why you stopped in Huddlestone? Why not go further down?
business opportunity. There are people here that need my help to travel the 10 trail and reach 10 town. It's a service that I can provide.
Curious, but what kind of services do you provide?
He kind of cocks his head like, you are interested in traveling into Icewind Dale?
Well, it was the original intention.
Original intention? You have many stories. Interesting. Yes.
Not as many as you, I'm sure.
No, I'm sure. Of that I do. It is not particularly interesting story. I had similar work back that way. I did much of my work in Brinshanda. And so the company that I worked with, we would deal with cargo and the like coming from Hunderstone and beyond that would travel into Tenta. But when the winter set in, it was deemed better that if I brought our business further south, you see, there is no wagon that can now travel from here to Tentown. The pass is impossible to make. The horse is big enough, but the carts themselves, they cannot make it through the snow. So the only way to travel now is by dog sled, something that we had plenty of in Brinshanda. Now I make deals with those that wish to continue moving themselves or their goods from Hunderstown to Brinshanda. They can travel their wagon as far as it will reach up the trail, and my people will receive a message to meet them on the journey with enough dog sleds to carry them the rest of the way.
You actually have people that want to go up north now.
And he kind of like gestures out towards the buildings. Like, I have an entire coach house filled. Much of the trade here is from Ironmaster, Fireshear, and Luskan, supposed to be heading north. We have goods of all kinds, and people as well that are trying to return to their families. He kind of says it with this little smirk that just riles you a bit, that he would, clearly happily monetize and has little to no feeling about, people trying to get home. But it is not possible for most. Make the journey themselves. It is a long way, very dangerous. But I have abilities granted upon me. You see, there is no way to get a message from here into Icewind Dale, not by any normal means. The message birds, they are lost in the storm, dead before they reach Brinshanda. And so it is difficult for people to arrange a way to be picked up. Whereas I have the ability granted by those I worship that I am able to divinely, and he kind of like spreads his hands and smiles slightly, kind of like that he has these divine powers to send a message of how many sleds must be sent and when and where they can be met, and then an exchange is made. Payment is made. This makes sense. You understand. I am but a businessman.
Unfortunately, I do.
So what is it that takes the four of you to Tenta? You have no cargo. You are others that are hiding, or others that are searching. Kind of like points around at the four of you. We have had and seen both. It is quite common.
We are tasked with an expedition by our employer and our patron. We seek to further their interests, and they keenly observe the path we are taking.
Is that so? And he kind of like smiles slightly at you. That you can, the undertones came across very clearly. And what is it? Is this a secret as well? You can tell Blackfriar. I am here to help you. We can be friends. I can ensure that there are sleds there to escort you on your way once you reach the path.
Aren't we already?
I would say more business is now. Friends. That comes later. Truly, what is it you seek? What takes you to Icewind Dale? Very few people go there willingly. This expedition is not something I've heard of. And I hear a lot of what travels between here and the Bryn Shanda.
We seek to deliver a message, and from there I imagine it will lead to further work, as our purpose is made clear to us. But we are to meet with an associate of our employer in
East Haven.
East Haven.
East Haven. Easy enough to get to from Bryn Shanda. You can simply take the east way. A relatively safe route. Less safe these days, but it can be done. Alternatively, if you wish to travel up the Red Waters, past Duggan's Hole and Godmead, also an option, but I do not provide services there, only to Bryn Shanda. When do you seek to travel there?
It may be a matter of weeks. We are waiting upon a meeting in the next day or two that may take us south for a short period of time before we continue north again.
You come, you go, you come, you go.
I'm sure you know how it is.
In situations I have seen recently, it has been more people come and do not go.
Did we get any food until now?
Not yet. No, he's not brought anything through yet. Seems like he is happily just talking. I'd say, depending where you're set, I'd say you've got eyes on the door to where you can kind of like smell the food coming from. And if you've, as you're the one that's asked, I'd say, you keep kind of like looking towards the door, and you kind of catch a glimpse of this little red imp. Kind of like looking around. He kind of like ducks back in again.
We all do?
I'll just say Turelios, because he was kind of like, he asked about the food, so he's kind of like looking over at the kitchen. Well. I suppose I should leave you to it for now. But if there is anything you can ask of Blackfriar, anything you need, please feel free. My door is always open.
Thanks. Much thanks, Blackfriar.
And where would we find you as well? Actually, before I say it, we're not at the edge of like what is clearly his lodgings, are we? Is it if I ask where can we find your door, that's not going to be a stupid "it's right here" sort of question. Is that the information we have?
Yeah, it didn't look like there were any other main buildings, so if it's safe to assume that if he stays on site, it would be in this building.
Okay, cool. I do not say anything then.
Okay. Very well. I have other business to tend to, and employers never stop. No. And he. Are you saying something?
Let's say this. Indeed.
And he steps up and kind of like with the spin of the chair, kind of like spins it on one leg, kind of like twirls it and kind of like lifts up to carry it. And in like the same motion, you see as he steps away, he's already got the cube in his hand and he's kind of like looking it over. Puts the chair back where it was and you bring out the food now. They are ready for it. And this little imp comes out and it's kind of like, I mean, it doesn't even look like an imp. You just see this silver tray like a foot off the floor, just kind of like bobbing with this food and like you just hear this little grunting coming from underneath it as this imp is bringing this little tray of 4 plates of food on it, and these like tall glassed branded, they're not even brandy tumblers, they're tall glass, because if they were brandy tumblers it would be spilling everywhere, so they've obviously been putting tall glasses on. Here you go, please enjoy. He's kind of like, you can see it's like wobbling a little bit at the bottom of, at the end of the table where he's like down on the floor, like just waiting for you to get it. Like,
can I give him a silver piece?
The
Can I pick
The
the tray from him?
yeah, I mean, he's still got the tray at the moment. So he's like, he can't reach up on the table. It's like the table's like another foot high before he can.
I'm gonna help him then. I'm gonna help him put it on and then give him a silver piece.
And he kind of like, and kind of like goes to take it from you. You can like eyes shine it, and you just hear, no. And he like looks over, and Blackfriars kind of like was like heading up the stairs, but he's kind of like stopped halfway up, and he's looking, and he's like, "No, thank you. It is most generous, but he's treated well enough." Then like, "Thank you, thank you. Enjoy your meal." And he just kind of like cows, kind of like bows his head a little bit and kind of like scampers across the floor, like with a bit of a jump and a bit of a flutter of his wings. That kind of like runs in the air a little bit as he gets to the kitchen, and then kind of like just disappears off. And then Blackfriar just kind of like stood at the top at the stairs, just kind of like gives another nod, and then carries on walking up, and then just kind of like goes out of sight.
I'm staring. Everybody can feel that I'm staring.
At where? At each other?
Probably at the imp.
Yeah, he's gone out of sight, yeah, but yeah.
Where the imp disappeared. And after a bit of a moment, I slowly turn to the others and I'm asking, how awake am I?
That's a good point. Roll me an Arcana check, Torelios and Eileen, to see whether you recognise what it is.
Me, I know nothing of Arcana. See?
Torelios, you do not know. I'll say, Eileen, that you through religion, you're aware of devils and demons and imps and that kind of thing. Probably never seen one in person, though.
No, absolutely not.
Especially not
I'm
so
just-
casual that one serves you
I'm just despairing. Please, somebody
like
tell me.
Please, somebody tell me they have seen the little creature from the depths of hell that just served us this food.
What? Like the cute little thing?
Only you, Lutetia, only you.
Guys, we are at 10:30.
We are.
Do we wish to continue, or do we wish to call it there for the eve?
I really have to go.
Okay.
That's right.
My
We
roommate is
keep
already
going
asleep,
without you.
so-
I feel like tucking into food and the exit of an imp waiter / chef, let's not be demeaning, he's also the chef, is as good a place as any to end. I think we will speak through the week.
I mean, we won't,
About-
will we?
Maybe
no, it's
this
gonna be-
time we actually will.
I think it's going to be out of character stuff because I need to know what I'm necessarily going to be preparing. Whether you're fully deciding on whether you're waiting for people and you're going to go as a larger group, or whether you are going to go on your own without them, what that might entail, and also if there's any other things you wish to do in Hundlestone in the meantime, because we're obviously going to expedite, however many days it takes for anything to happen if we are indeed waiting.
Okay.
Regain my sanity for once.
Yeah. But we will pick up with you eating the food if you wish, or we can pick up with meals well eaten, and if you wish to kind of
Poison
head
thoroughly ingested.
poison thoroughly ingested, and if you wish to kind of go and have conversations here, there, or anywhere else, then we can do that during the session. But we will discuss other things out of character in the meantime. So there we go, guys. You've now met Blackfriar.
Freya.
Blackfriar. He won't pay
Make
his
the theme
imp.
song for this.
Well, there you go, guys. So, thank you, everybody that watched. There ended up being, perhaps, upon Sean, too much discussion back and forth with what you were going to do. But I feel like we came to a more amicable decision at the end. We'll just iron out the details, maybe. But that was good. Good job, folks.
I enjoyed
like
that.
Yeah, I think
Great session as always, says Nikki, our viewer.
good
Yeah,
old
it was
Nikki.
fun.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you, Nikki. This session was sponsored by Nikki, who is our patron who funds us. He sits there watching to make sure the quality is good enough every week.
She does.
Right then, guys, we will call it there. Harrison is going to end the stream, and we will catch you all next week. Is it
Alright,
Thursday?
good night.
Wait. Can we start saying, is it Thursday yet, or will we get cancelled?
No, we cannot.
Trademarks, unbelievable. Thank God it's not Thursday. That's what I say.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.